months. But don't stay in bed too long if you use C2C services. Loads of engineering works in those parts, so check well before you leave. So, Arsenal, who nominally at least are our opponents, well, they've won their last 2 games, but those were against a woeful Chelsea and an even more woeful Manchester United. A quick look at the previous 3 saw them get worked 3-0 at Palace, beaten 2-1 at home by Brighton, and 1-0 away at Southampton. So all a bit Jekyll and Hyde, you might say. The 2 recent wins have got them into 4th spot at the time of writing, with 60 points from 33 games, which is 2 clear of Spurs. In their efforts, they've been assisted by being unencumbered by having had a European campaign, and the fact that they were able to disguise a shortage of players due to injury and African Cup absences as resulting from COVID. Tellingly, when it was realised that the proverbial was being taken, the authorities tightened up on the rules, but only well after that horse was well and truly out of sight from that particular stable door. They started out the season with a spell in bottom place. Clearly action was necessary, and if our game at the Hemorrhoid earlier on this season is anything to go by, Arteta has gone to the Pulis Warnock Guide to Association Football. Diving that would make even Liverpool blush, face clutching and general feigning of injury all seem to be the order of the day, all of which is a worry given the bent official we've got in charge this weekend, more of which later. It was another relatively easy week for Daisy as they weren't overactive in the transfer window this winter. However, it would be amiss of me not to mention the arrival of American under-23 defender Austin Levi Josiah Trusty, not because he'll feature in this match, they loaned him straight back to Colorado Rapids, but because he has a splendid name, and also has a spell with the equally splendidly named Bethlehem Steel under his belt. Presumably they have a management committee of 3 wise men rather than a single head coach. On the injury front, Bukayo Saka will be available following a thigh injury. However, defender Kevin Tierney will be out with a genuine knee injury that will require surgery. Whilst out, he should reflect on his position, maybe thinking it as some form of retribution from the footballing god for his face-clutching antics, which were designed to try and get a fellow professional sent off. I wouldn't hold your breath, though. The most interesting thing happened to them this season is the departure of Aubameyang, following the stripping of the captaincy for disciplinary reasons. Perhaps Aubameyang got as bored with them as I have, which is why I'm moving on early to the wild and wacky world of association football. Even Hartlepool are more interesting than Arsenal this week. Mark Shelton will be missing from their side this weekend. Why, I hear you ask? Hamstring? Knee ligaments? Trendy metatarsal? Nope, none of those. The lad got a cotton bud lodged in his ear, affecting his balance organs, causing dizziness. The BBC's report on the injury is really helpful, showing a picture of an ear and a cotton bud, just in case we couldn't visualise the position. That's worth the licence fee alone. Meanwhile, the Football Writers Association have decided that credibility is an overrated quality. A couple of seasons ago, the Liverpool supporters among their membership decided that although Kevin De Bruyne was having the sort of season that arguably made him the best player in Europe, if not the world, they would give their annual Football of the Year award to the talent-free mediocrity that is Jordan Henderson. This year they've got the full Monty and giving it to diving cheat Salah. Next time you see a newspaper article bemoaning diving, if you get a chance, ask the writer who they voted for. On to us then. Well, we didn't play our best on Thursday, that's for sure. But we also had next to no luck at all. In the build-up to their second, for example, there were a number of half blocks that fell very kindly to the visitors. That seemed to happen all the way through the game. We did also seem tactically wrong, though. Johnson appeared to be playing as a wing-back, but had little interest in getting the ball down the line into the channel for Bowen to attack. It seemed to come back or inside pretty much every time, which slowed down the attack and crucially kept Bowen out of the game for long spells. Still, it's only half-time and we were 2-1 down against them last time, as I recall. The omens are stacking up nicely. More on them during the week. On Sunday, of course, Dawson will be missing, and it's likely to be a team with a number of rested players in advance of Thursday night's showdown. Thankfully, Zuma's back, increasing the number of central defenders available to us by 100%. Maybe we'll put Johnson back in the middle where he acquitted himself.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to KUMBTV's Eyes Up Mother Brown. Joining me today is DL, going to be coming up very soon. Hope you're all very well. Let us know your score predictions as we go into this one. The game just about to start. Over on, where are we watching today? Where is it? BT Sports or Sky Sports? I'm not sure. But we'll find out very soon. Anyway, let us know what you think. West Ham in for a win today. Bit of a surprise team out. Oh, look, there's Mike Dean on the telly. Don't want to see him. Let's stop this. We don't want to see that anymore, do we? Yeah. Where am I? Where am I? Doesn't want to show me. Hang on a second. Let's get this right. Let's turn that one off. And let's start that one. Coming up and there we are. There we go. There we go. Live in glorious Technicolor. Myself and DL.
I'm about. I don't know if my audio's on, but I'm here. I'm just making a bit of a mash of stuff. Hang on.
I can hear you, mate. I can hear you. The audio's working fine.
Yeah, which means everyone else has probably heard me cursing, swearing, and everything else. I was kind of hoping you didn't.
I didn't. But I've been busy doing other stuff. The game's underway, by the way.
Oh, is it? I'm nowhere near, mate. I'm nowhere near. I'm having an absolute mare.
All right, no worries. Anyway, good afternoon, everybody. Once again, welcome to KUMBTV's Eyes Up Mother Brown. West Ham United versus Arsenal, the final London derby of the season for the Hammers at the London Olympic Stadium. And, of course, the final London derby for Mark Noble, who is bidding us all farewell at the end of the season. His final season as a pro at the club. Mark, of course, 18 years, I think it is. He's been a pro and hanging up his boots this year after many, many years at the club. As I said, there he is, looking sharp.
I mean, sort of. Hang on. I'm still half asleep. Oh, mate, the afternoon's just gone to rats because of being an old man. I fell asleep and hi.
Hello. Well, look, I'll tell you what. While you're gathering yourself, I'll run through the team, shall I?
Yeah, I've not even got a game up yet. I don't know what channel it's on or nothing. I think it's on Sky Sports. So
it is on Sky. Yeah, I can see. I've got a Sky stream, so it is indeed on Sky. So I'll take you through the teams anyway. 5 changes for West Ham from the team that was narrowly beaten on Thursday night by Eintracht Frankfurt at the London Olympic Stadium. We line up thusly: Lucas Fabianski in goal, Soufal, Vladimir Soufal back in at right back, Zuma, Fredericks Cresswell. Also lining up at the back, Declan Rice, partnering Mark Noble, who's captaining the team today. 3 in front of those 4 now was Lanzini, Ben Rama and Jared Bowen playing the lone strikers role on the subs bench this afternoon. Alphonse Areola, Arthur Masuaku, Adji Elise, Issa Diop. Interestingly not used, but considered enough to go on the bench. Alex Kroll, Thomas Souček, Niko Vlasic, Andrei Yarmolenko and Mikhail Antonio. West Ham's team. Our opponents today, Arsenal lineup as follows: Ramsdale in goal, back four of Tomiyasu, Holding, Gabriel Magalhaes, Nuno Tavares in the midfield, Odegaard, Elneny and Xhaka, and a front 3 of Saka, Gabriel Martinelli and Eddie Nketiah. That's Arsenal's 11, and their subs this afternoon: Leno, Cedric, Kirk Swanson, Lokonga, Ulad, Smith Rowe, Pepe and Lacazette. We are 3 minutes into the game. West Ham kicking from left to right on our screens. Nick, what are we thinking today? Are we confident this afternoon?
No, not at all.
All right.
So that's going to be 2-0 to us, I reckon.
Excellent. Well, I mean, the thing is,
well,
we'd certainly take that.
I'm trying to pull my hoodie string through, right? And I'm doing it by my bloody video.
Got it.
Obviously, the opposite way. Oh, look.
Perfect. Those things are the bane of everyone's lives, aren't they? If it's not them, it's your shorts, you know.
Yeah.
They're not mentioned.
I won't wear shorts because I'm just not that cruel to the world, to be honest, because you really don't want to see these things.
I hope you've got some alternative clothing on beneath your waist, and that's not something to
no, I do have. I've got a pair of jeans on.
Oh, good.
Okay, I don't have shorts. No, you won't catch me in shorts. You're having a laugh. I don't think my legs have seen daylight for about 30 years.
Well, look at just coming back to the Premier League table. I just wanted to have a quick look at what results we've had so far, and have a look at how it means West Ham are looking, or how it pans out for us this afternoon. Some interesting results for us yesterday. The most interesting one, I guess, being the Wolves thumped 3-0 at home by Brighton yesterday, which is huge for the Hammers, of course. Man United not playing until tomorrow, but in terms of what it means for us and our fight for Europe this season, Wolves still 3 points behind the Hammers. Both played 34 games now, so a win today, Nick, if you're right today, and we could get a win today, that would put 6 points clear of Wolves, who have only got 4 games to go. And you'd have to say that pretty much looks like we'd be nailed on. I won't say nailed on, but in a very, very strong position for at least a Conference League position. And of course, it would put us on level on points with Man U, who've already played 35 games.
Yeah, as I said during the week on my article on the site, you know, we can't really be taking our eye off the ball in the league, and we need to be getting the points on the ball, you know, just in case that we don't progress through the Europa League, because it has been great this season. And having that, doing it again and being regulars, I think will be the making or breaking us of the club. We do have this horrible tendency in our history to have this good season, good semi-finals and finals and stuff like that. And then it all go to rats. And I can't see why that's going to be any different this season if we don't qualify for Europe. Okay. Just seems to be what we do. So keep our eye on the ball in the league, and we've got that experience policy, haven't we? Then. Yep, absolutely. We don't win the Europa, so I don't care if it's the conference. It's still going to be Europe. It's you know, it's what. Where I'm still half asleep. Tell me at it.
No, I'm totally with you. I totally agree. I think Europa League, Conference League, or you know, who knows? We could still be in any one of. It must be in a really, really unique position thinking about it, that we could at this point, with only 4 games to go, we could be playing next season in the Champions League, the Europa League again. Could we? I suppose we could technically the Conference League, or none at all. We don't know. There can't be many occasions on which that's been the case.
No, well, never in my lifetime. Never. 4 games to go, and that's the position we're in. And that's the thing. It'll be an immense disappointment if, with 4 games to go, that after those 4 games, we're in none of it. But as you say, the Wolves result yesterday was massive for us, but we need to capitalise on that.
We do.
And, you know, why not start today? It's one of those teams that you're not expecting anything to come of it, you know, because of the way we've lined up with Thursday in mind. So he has kind of done an all eggs in one basket. But, you know, Arsenal blow hot and cold, don't they? As much as we do. Yeah, they certainly do. They've had some very good results with some very, very poor results this season. I've just seen a great interception by Aaron Cresswell. I'm kind of the mind to point that out, because he was taking quite a lot of stick after Thursday night, which I thought was a bit unfair. I didn't think he did anything particularly wrong. But he seems to be one of those players, doesn't he, that, you know, when we do suffer defeat, it's almost like he's a go-to, like the default excuse. But Ben Rama being another one, I guess. A lot of people criticise whether he's had a bad game or not. But what do you make on the Cresswell thing? Are you a fan? Do you think he's unduly criticised at times? I don't think he's been unduly criticised at times. Since he got his injury earlier on in the season, he's not been. I don't think he's been the same player since he's been back. Right. And it does take I've noticed with Aaron, it does take a little while for him to get back into the swing of things. And I just think we're going to run out of games. So hopefully next season we'll see a rejuvenated Cresswell, which doesn't help us now, of course, because we need him at both ends of the pitch. His delivery and his and for his defensive work. I get he ain't the quickest defender in the world, but he's got a defender's brain, and he can make a challenging, important interceptions as we've just seen here. So, yep. Fingers crossed he finds his mojo again Thursday night and shuts up the doubters. But because of the performance that we had against Lyon without him, I'd actually be inclined to stick him on the bench and go with the same team. Really? That's interesting. Yeah. That's interesting. It weren't broke, so don't fix it. Okay. Well, let us know what you think. Did you agree with Nick? Do you think we should perhaps consider benching Cresswell for that huge game on Thursday? I'm sure we're going to talk about it quite a bit
throughout this afternoon. But we'll just come back to this one briefly. Just coming up to 9 minutes gone. Still nil. West Ham are on the attack. Vladimir Soufal's just tried to pull the ball back and won a corner. So we'll just stick with this for a minute. It's the first corner of the game. West Ham, actually, if you haven't got a stream, have been on the in the ascendancy pretty much from the start, looking the stronger of the two teams, which is quite interesting given the personnel we've got out this time. But we'll just stick with this, Nick, if we may, for the corner. It's on West Ham's right hand side. Jarrod Bowen has moved across to take it. We're going to see the arm go up in just a second, no doubt. Declan Rice is in the box. Kurt Zuma's up there. Saeed Benrahma it's floated over. It's into Ramsdale, punches it clear, and Arsenal able to get out. West Ham, of course, without some of the big guys in there this afternoon. No Souček, no Craig Dawson to put pressure on the keeper. So a lot lying on the big head and shoulders of Kurt Zuma, Nick, you'd say, from set pieces today.
Yeah, I'm just watching it now. I think I might be half a minute or so behind you.
Okay.
I think today's going to be one of those days where we're going to look at getting anything out of it as a bonus. And I think that, and in all honesty, even if we didn't have Europe, what was it, 2 wins in 27 games against them? I think any day we play Arsenal and get a point.
Yeah.
It's kind of a free hit, isn't it? So far as Arsenal are concerned, they're just one of those teams that we just can't beat. Sorry, I'm talking about.
No, you're right, and also in terms of our league position, and you mentioned, where we are, and that with that surprise defeat, or maybe not such a surprise really. Brighton have had a very good season, but that defeat for Wolves yesterday means it's not absolutely vital that we secure all 3 points today to kind of keep them adrift of us as things stand. But anyway, 11 minutes gone. Lucas Fabianski's got the ball in his hands. No, I don't think we've had an effort on goal yet. I say that I haven't even got my my notebook out yet, so there can't be much happening because I haven't felt the need to write any notes yet. There it is. Big old pad. Every single game this season in there. Yes. A lot of old rubbish written in those pages.
Publish a novel with that.
Could do. Well, funny enough, talking about that, I was thinking about perhaps doing something this year, being KUMB's 25th year. We may have mentioned that once or twice on this stream over the past few weeks, but it is indeed our 25th year of operation this year. And I thought it might be a good idea to kind of mark it with maybe some kind of publication that our readers and members could keep. Not quite sure what to do with it, but I was thinking of maybe doing a best of, it's kind of featuring some of the best articles that have been produced or match reports from some of the biggest games. Kind of like a memory of those 25 years. And I sat down and tried to work out roughly how many words there were in our database from articles and match reports. And I got to about 6 million and gave up. So, you could probably write a book or two. That's contributions from everybody. Everybody who's written a match report, provide an article like yourself, some of the regulars that come in and do it, and the daily news stuff. Yeah, over 6 million words have been expressed and written about West Ham. A lot of old nonsense, you could say, Nick, in the last quarter of a century.
See, I've just got this vision of you sitting there at your computer screen with a pen, counting each and every one individually, and you get to 6 million and the doorbell goes. That's you have to give up.
Yeah, that'd be a nightmare, wouldn't it? No, and that, of course, is not counting any of the content that's been added on the forum, and I dare say there's a considerably greater amount of wordage that has been provided.
How many gifts has SH posted?
How many gifts? Well, I mean, you're probably around 10 million there on its own, aren't you?
So have we got that data for CH and his gift? SH and his gifts.
Yeah, he does like a gift, doesn't he, RSH? Where are we? 30. I'm on 13 minutes and 6 seconds, 7, 8, 9, Nick.
I can't even see. Yeah, I'm about 30 seconds behind you, 25 seconds behind you.
Okay, I shall try to mute any celebrations if we do score. Or
just have it.
All right. Okay, will do.
Just have it.
My pen doesn't work. I'm going to need another pen. West Ham kicking from left to right on our TV screens. 0-0 at the moment. The Hammers looking the stronger of the two teams. No real efforts on goal so far, but West Ham, as I say, have enjoyed quite a bit of possession. Mark Noble out there for his farewell derby today, Nick. It's been a long and illustrious career. Wouldn't it be great to see him mark this final London derby with a goal?
Oh, that'd just be heaven. That would be heaven. hopefully a penalty to atone from his miss against Man United.
Yep.
That still boggles me. Still boggles me. I was sitting watching it in a pub in Poole. No, was it Poole? No, Bournemouth. And I was the only West Ham fan there. It was full of Man United fans. And I just
Bournemouth, that figures.
Yeah. And I just knew that he was going to miss that. I mean, you just get that foreboding. I was like, what are you doing? Well, don't bring him on just for a penalty. He's going to miss it. And he missed it.
It was a bizarre thing to do. Never really seen that before at that level before, have you?
Well,
it's almost like the American football thing, isn't it? Introducing a specialist kicker for
just
just
we
one
saw it
play.
a couple of months previous, didn't we, in the Euros? And we saw how that worked out. When he delivered in Southgate, bought on.
Oh, I thought you were talking about us in the Euros. I think I can't remember.
No.
England, of course, you're talking about the Three Lions.
The three Lions, yes.
Not Mark Noble, unfortunately, though, because of course he's still yet to get his cap. Say yet, because you never know.
Have we got any friendlies before the World Cup?
Friendlies?
Yeah.
England or England friendlies?
England.
I'm not sure, but there's been rumours this week floating around that West Ham are going to be playing Rangers. Of course, talking about friendlies. That's the summer, obviously before the season commences. But I don't know.
Would that be just for sentimental sake? So that, because I didn't Southgate pick Rooney so that he could say farewell.
I've no idea, but I'll bow to your superior knowledge on that one.
I'm sure we did.
Yeah.
So that he got his 100th or something or other. I'm sure we did. Maybe I'm dreaming it. How nice would it be? Just as a token, thank you, under 21 captain that got us to a final and whatnot. He deserved one in 2016. Bow out with an England cap, mate.
It was a bit weird, that, wasn't it? Because he was West Ham are just looking to break Pablo Fornells. Put low crossing, but it's a poor cross and it's just rolled straight through to Ramsdale. Played, it was a constant, wasn't he, for the under 21s when he was at England. Played in that Euro final, and you sort of thought he was going to go on and have some sort of a senior career at international level. And then 2 or 3 times when he sort of really peaked. So you mentioned 2016 there, which I think that was the closest he was, wasn't it, to getting a pick. But just never materialised for Mark. Do you think that was because he, without sort of being biased or using that old adage of it's only us. Do you think because he was at West Ham that went against him throughout his career? Maybe had he taken that move to Arsenal when he was, touted as a potential gooner, it might have helped him on an international stage.
I know it's sacrilege to say this, but apart from 2016, I think it's just because he hadn't good enough.
Right.
Obviously.
Stiff competition.
Great for us, don't get me wrong. But I think he's just, throughout his career, and I'm not taking isolated seasons here, like 2016, I mean throughout his career, I think he's just been under that level. But there have been times where he has deserved a call-up, just, to have a look at him. When you see some of the dross that's been picked in front of him, but I don't think he was ever really. I know he was great for the under 21s. I don't think he was quite there as an international. And to be fair, apart from the dross, taking out the dross that got picked in front of him, that picked up the odd caps and stuff. When he was in his prime, so to speak, our midfield weren't too shabby anyway, was it?
No, not at all. Not at all. We'll come back to that in just a second, Nick, because Arsenal have got their first corner on their left-hand side.
Off of Noble.
Off of Noble, indeed. It's floated in to the danger area, and Lucas Fabianski does really well to rise above a crowd of players and punch the ball clear of the penalty box. It's actually about 30 yards out of the away from his byline that he's managed to punch that. It's a pretty strong punch. But anyway, still 0-0, West Ham 0. Let us know what you think about the Noble. Do you think Mark Noble deserved an England cap? Do you think he was unfortunate not to get one? Do you think if he had been playing for another club, like perhaps Arsenal, he would have got the nod from Southgate or any of his predecessors? Let us know what you think. Cut the hellos. Hellos to Tony, to Hobo, to Mark, Craven joining us live on the stream. Dan just come in. Hope you're doing well this afternoon. Gentlemen, let us know what you think of today? Do you think West Ham can sneak a win here in this final London derby of the season? Or do you think this is going to be another one of those frustrating afternoons against Arsenal? Now, Nick, were you here when we did the stream last year and we were 3-0 up against Arsenal and absolutely reveling in it and how we were going to smash them to pieces, only to see Arsenal get a point in the end and almost beat us when the game finished 3-3?
I can't remember if I was on or not. There's so many now. I can't remember individual games, but although I remember the game, if that makes sense. I can't remember what I was doing. Was that during lockdown?
It must have been. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, fairly certain it was.
Maybe. Unless I was out on one of my road trips or something. I don't know. No, I do remember that because we had that spate, didn't we, of being 3-0 up. And was it at Brighton and all we were 3-0 up and we drew 3-3?
I'd have to look, but there was it not the next week we were 3-0 up and won 3-2?
Yeah, something like that. I know that 3-0 was for a few weeks was a dangerous line for us.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things we've joked about over the years, isn't it? But then it actually happened, you know. We of course we nearly lost that game. I recall Arsenal missing a really good chance in added on time to actually win the game. We totally fell to pieces. But
believe it or not, I've actually got a Taco Bell in front of me.
Sorry, you've got a what?
A Taco Bell takeaway.
A Taco Bell on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
What did you go for?
Bear with me, because I don't want it to get cold. So I'm putting that close.
All right. I'll carry on doing a bit of a monologue for the next minute.
It's already cold.
Why you stuff your mooey? West Ham side Ben Rama's just got to the byline and tried to cut inside. The ball's just gone out of play, and nothing happening in the end. We're just seeing a little shot of the subs-bench, Yarmolenko, Kral, and Elise, looking pensive, watching on from the sidelines. At least two of those will be hoping to get a run out. Something that they haven't had a lot of this season. Alex Kral, of course, the player on loan. We've seen him about 3 times, I think, so far this season. Elise played against Zagreb, didn't he, in the Europa League match at the end of that group campaign. Haven't seen him in the first team again since, but he's been playing really, really well at youth team level. But we'll see. What have we got here? Hobo, yes. Mark Noble and Billy Bonds, ridiculous, he says, obviously referring to the fact that neither of those stalwarts, West Ham legends, have ever picked up an England A cap.
He did get called up, though, didn't he?
Billy Bonds did get called up, he did.
Had to quit. But then, Noble one of the standbys that would have probably been called up if he didn't have a back injury? Was it 2012?
Again, I'm going to have to defer to your greater knowledge on that one. I don't remember, but you could well be right.
I'm sure he was on the standby list, but then had a back injury.
Right. What was that for the Euros or the World Cup?
Might have been the World. I think it was 2012 World Cup, wasn't it?
Right.
Not the yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I imagined it.
Well, it must have been. If it was 2012, I suppose that would have been the Euros, wouldn't it? Because the 2010 World Cup, that was South Africa, wasn't it? The one where Rob Green played against the United States and let the ball go through his legs. Was that in Ukraine or somewhere over there? Russia, somewhere like that, the 2012 Euros? I seem to remember Andy Carroll playing.
I can't remember. I'm just on Google to see.
Let us know. 22 and a half minutes gone. We're exactly halfway through the first half at the London Olympic Stadium this afternoon. West Ham United 0, Arsenal 0. Question coming in from Craven Moorhead. Nick, I'll throw this one over to you first. Craven says, who do you both think will go down after wins this weekend for Everton and Burnley? I don't think anyone can call it. For those who haven't seen the results, Everton pulling off a major shock, beating Chelsea 1-0. Well, hang on a sec. Arsenal attacking on the edge of West Ham's penalty box, but the Hammers managing to keep it out. And Burnley also winning 1-0 down, weren't they, at Watford yesterday, and winning 2-1. But I was going to say that actually. Of all of those, they're picking up points. One team certainly not picking up points. Nick,
Leeds United.
Yeah. Is that your call? You think they'll be going with Norwich and Watford? Okay, there you go, Craven.
Burnley have got the momentum. Everton with a game in hand and sort. Everton with a game in hand and stuff. I think they'll squeak through, unfortunately. But Leeds, they're just dropping like a stone, aren't they? So that's where my money lies.
I'm looking at the Premier League table here on Google, and I'm sure this is incorrect because I'm looking at the last 5 matches and it's saying Leeds have won 2 and drawn 2 of their last 5. That can't possibly be correct. It's saying they've only lost 1 in their last 5. I'm fairly certain that isn't right. Burnley, of course, 3 wins in a row, absolutely flying under their new management team of no manager whatsoever. I don't believe they've hired anyone yet, have they? I haven't seen anything anyway. Sorry, Nick's eating. We'll come back to that in a minute. But yeah, so what do I think, Craven? You know, I'd like to see Everton go. Because they've scraped through once or twice, and anyone who remembers that infamous last day of the season game against Wimbledon, whenever it was, 86, 87, when they were 2-0 down and looking like they were destined for the drop, and then Wimbledon miraculously fell apart in the second half to concede 3 goals, I think it was, to allow Everton to stay up. That's always kind of stuck in the craw, that one. It never sat right with me that they got out that. And I've got to say, I'm not a great fan of Everton either. So I'd be quite happy to see them go. Who do I think is going to go? I think Nick might be right. I mean, Burnley are absolutely flying at the moment, aren't they? 10 points from their last 5 games, 10 from their last 4, actually, including that point at the London Olympic Stadium a week or so ago. Everton not been picking up points, but, you know, they've pulled out a result against Chelsea, which, you know, again, you kind of wonder, don't you, the old Frank Lampard link there. Did they do him a favour? Who knows? Who knows? But Leeds, as Nick says, are really struggling under their new coach. And I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't be surprised to see Norwich, Watford and Leeds. So there you go. Yeah. Said Benrahma's looking to get crossing. He's on the left-hand side of the penalty area. Gets his crossing. Zuma, who for some reason is playing like a centre forward at the moment, gets a header, but it's blocked. A few fans asked for a penalty. Asked the question. Did it come off the hand of the Arsenal defender? Don't think so. Play continues. West Ham now attacking on the right-hand side. No idea why, and you'll probably see this in just a second, Nick, but Kurt Zouma, as I said, they're playing as a centre forward. It's not like we just had a set piece or anything. It was right up in the penalty box. Very unusual.
Little bit of trivia. He's only started out his career as a centre forward. Did you know that?
He used to play centre forward.
Yeah, that's where he started off.
I didn't know that.
Then he got moved into midfield and then into defence, and that's then when he became a good defender. But no, as a youth, he was a centre forward, according to his Wikipedia page.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, I mean, of course, Rio Ferdinand was the same, wasn't he? Started out playing as an attacker and moved slowly back through the ranks as he got older and found his place as a, sort of like one of the first kind of ball-playing centre halves. That Tony Carr was so keen on bringing into the game in the mid-90s when he went to a few of those seminars watching European football. It's a great cross coming from the right-hand side, by the way. Vladimir Sufal. Chance here for West Ham. And Pablo Fornals, I think his shot would have been on target, but it's been well blocked by the Arsenal defender. And it's gone over for a corner. Let's just have another look. It's a really poor clearance. I know it hasn't actually taken a deflection. It's just a really horrendous shot, and he's put it over the bar. Let's have another look at that. Yeah, he's just skied it. He's got right underneath it and skied it. I think that might be, Nick, our first shot of the game. 28 minutes.
It was a good chance, you know.
Yeah.
Not a bad chance. You know what? If he kept that down at that angle, he would have made the keeper work, wouldn't he?
Yep, certainly would have done. But is this been it's been one of West Ham's big problems this year? Just not scoring enough goals. Fornals, not sure how many he's got. I'm sure the stats are going to prove me wrong, but I get the feeling he hasn't scored as many as we would have liked to have seen him score this season. But it's those sort of opportunities. Jared Bowen, another one, even though he's our top scorer and closing in on 20 goals this season. You know, he's had a lot of opportunities. Michail Antonio. A lot of one-on-ones. Is this a problem for us this year? Is this something we need to address in the summer?
Oh, well, yeah, absolutely. But then you kind of sort of like, well, because if you look at the goals scored this season, we're right up there. But by the same token, you know we should have scored considerably more.
Yeah. With
the chances we've had. Our problem's been the other end. It's simple as that. You know, there's me, and I'm I'm as guilty as the next man, screaming about we need strikers, we need strikers. And meanwhile, we're well in the top half for goals scored, and very well into the bottom half for goals conceded. So that really should tell you where our problem lies. And if we can find our shooting boots, we'll have goal differences of 20, 30 plus. Do you know what I mean? Because even now, with all the chances we're missing, and with quite a poor defensive record for a club with aspirations for the top 6, we're still sitting on plus 12. Was it plus 8 or so? I can't remember what it is.
I mean, either way, it's a huge bonus given that we for 20 or 30 years we didn't have a positive goal difference. By the way, Said Benrahma should have just scored for West Ham there. Soufal's put a crossover. It's taken a deflection, which has worked its way out to Said Benrahma on the left-hand side of the penalty box. Really good chance for Benrahma, but I mean, it's actually come off the elbow of the Arsenal defender Holding. Is there a VAR check? No, I don't think there is. Which yeah.
Have a look.
What do you make of that, Nick? Yeah,
I'm just seeing the slow-mo now.
Yeah,
that looked more into his side. No, I'd be gutted.
His elbow. If you watch it again, I think there's another angle coming up. If you're watching the same stream as me, and it looks like it just hits him at the bottom of the elbow. That is an elbow.
I'll bear to your better quality pictures. I've only got it in a little thing like that in the corner of the screen, so I've got YouTube, the forum, and everything else up. So my monitor looked like a patchwork quilt of windows. Yes. I thought it hit his side and his elbow. No, if that was given against us, I would have been spitting feathers, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean it's certainly not a handball deliberate, but there was this rule, wasn't there, for a while, that if it hit you at any part of the arm, it was a penalty. Presumably that's not the case now, given what we've just seen.
If it was the arm in an unnatural position, I mean he did everything to keep his.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, his arm's tight on the body. But good chance, spurned for West Ham anyway. A real opportunity for Said Benrahma to maybe open the score. Perhaps he could have. What do you think there? Do you think that was just one of those things? You think he could have maybe taken a touch and cut inside and picked his spot?
He could have done, but I think most of our players, because we don't have. Let's be honest, we've got, despite us being where we are in the team, I think, with the exception of Declan Rice, we have got a mid-table squad, haven't we, that are playing beyond their capabilities because of the sum of our unit, let's say. And I still think most of our players, and I include Benrahma in this, play better on instinct. As soon as they have to think about it, that's when it goes wrong. So I'd rather them play on instinct than think about it, because then they start thinking, they dwell on the ball, they get robbed, and then they go down the other end of the
Interestingly, Nick, just looking at the last two posts on the live chat, Hobo, in reference to that decision we just talked about, Hobo says elbow, and Tony's replied with just seen it. I'm with DL on that one, so it seems the rest of the stream can't make up their mind either. But anyway, it's not been given, so it doesn't really matter. It's still West Ham United 0, Arsenal 0, 32.5 minutes gone here at the London Olympic Stadium. Very, very Arsenal without a shot yet. A couple of efforts from West Ham, 4 nails fired over, 28 minutes gone. And then we were just talking about it, that Benrahma effort a couple of minutes ago, but still no real clear-cut chances for either side. Hobo says, is Everton beating Chelsea such a shock? Chelsea are poor and got lucky versus us. And also says it's long overdue that Everton go down, but I think they'll stay up now. Boo. Craven, wasn't that Everton game against Wimbledon where John Fashanu were done for a bung and that game was under scrutiny? Again, I'll have to defer your greater knowledge there, Craven, doing a lot of that today. May well be. I don't know. Declan Rice attacking through the middle, gets a shot away. But it's straight into the hands of Aaron Ramsdale. But it's a clear-cut opportunity at last. Rice bursting through the middle, cutting inside, trying to wrap his shot round the goalkeeper with his right foot, but didn't quite get the angle correct. Was looking to curl it into the far post, but in the end, it was a pretty standard save for the keeper. But better from West Ham.
Asking questions of them, which is all you can ask, really.
Yep.
I'm not sure if we're doing all right or Arsenal are having an off day, though. I haven't quite made my mind up yet.
They're very Very, very poor so far, aren't they? I mean, you've got to say.
No, I wasn't going to go that far, but you have, and now you've just put the muggers on it.
I've totally jinxed it. Yeah, you know what's coming now, and they're in our half in possession, of course. That's the moment we say it. Bob Claret says our current goal difference is +8. Well, this is a good chance for Arsenal. Oh no, it's all right. The ball was played to the far post where Nketiah was closing in. Not dissimilar position to Frankfurt's opening goal on Thursday night. Actually, maybe a little bit closer to the byline, but fortunately for the Hammers, Nketiah not able to get a decent contact on it, and the ball rolls out for a goal kick. Should we have a quick chat about Thursday, Nick? We haven't been there yet, have we? We kind of went into that game with such huge optimism as a fan base, and sort of everything went wrong, didn't it? We conceded a goal after 51 seconds, whatever it was. The fans were all arguing with each other. There was punch-ups left, right and centre among the fan base, much of which a lot of people said weren't regulars. And then, of course, ultimately we were beaten 2-1 and have left ourselves with a huge uphill task for this Thursday. What did you make of that one?
It was the early goal was the killer. It's simple as that. That completely changed everything. It does. Those early goals. Everything that you've put in place throughout the week, trained for and everything else is straight out the window. Straight out the window. I mean, we looked lost. We looked shell-shocked. We didn't know what to do. We looked like we didn't know what to do. So, and then when we finally did get on it and equalise, they, what would have, under normal circumstances, I would have guessed, would have been an equaliser for them, ends up being the winning goal.
Yeah.
We've sussed them out, though. I think we've sussed them out.
Okay.
Deserved the goal towards the end. And next Thursday, I think we're more than capable of doing it. Whether we will is a different kettle of fish. But I think we're capable. It was
one of those games where, for me, all the luck seemed to go their way. Like the little ricochets here and there, a couple of 50-50 decisions that I won't say the referee, because I thought the referee had a fantastic game, but the linesman in front of where we were on the left-hand side in the Bobby Moore seemed to give us nothing throughout the game. And then, of course, as you mentioned, I mean, we hit the woodwork 3 times. Got to say, the first one where Bowen went through, I think that was when we were still 1-0 down, wasn't it? Yeah. That was a brilliant save by the keeper. Trapp, absolutely superb. If you watch the replay, gets the tiniest deflections on it, without which I think the ball goes in the back of the net and Bowen scores. He had a fabulous night. I got in trouble, actually, when on that shot, and it hit the post, because I didn't realise that it was Isaac's bedtime at that exact point. Right. And I may have said, "You effing C word." Not particularly. I was in the bedroom. I was upstairs watching it in the bedroom, and I thought everyone was downstairs. Oh dear. But no. And and then my son has gone down and said to the wife, "Honey, did you get grassed?" Daddy said the effing C word, and I'm like, "Oh no." You've got to love kids, haven't you? You've got to love. You really thought you'd got away with it for a minute until. Well, yeah, I didn't even, because my door was shut and everything. I didn't scream it. Yeah, it was just you. Yeah. Who are you talking about, by the way? Trapp or Bowen? Well, at the time, Bowen, because I thought we'd scuffed it. Yeah, I actually thought we'd scuffed it. So, yeah, but then I changed it to the keeper. Lucas Fabianski's come back to today. Lucas Fabianski's just made a really decent save. Arsenal's first shot of the game. Arsenal breaking through the centre, and it's a good shot actually. Fabianski's had to dive full length to his left hand side. Is it full length? Maybe not quite full length, but he's done very, very well to get down and tip the ball round for a corner to Arsenal. But yeah, just right now. Good save, isn't it? Decent save. Let's just stick with the corner. The corner comes in into the centre box. Header goes up, and Arsenal scored. It's a goal. Holding has scored the centre half. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Can you believe it? I think I've jinxed it, mate. Yep. Holding scored. It's a box standard goal. Corner floated over into the centre, and Holding's just got higher than anybody else and nodded it into the far corner. Fabianski's just a passenger there, just watching. Nothing he can do about it. And poor defending from West Ham, Nick. Poor from set pieces. Oh, absolutely awful defending. Yeah. Awful. And it was kind of against the run of play, I know, because they've done nothing all game. Yeah.
But them's the breaks, I suppose. On a more important note, do not think that this cup is considerably out for me. Can you see that? Oh, where's it gone? It's gone.
Oh, it's gone. It's hiding.
Blackburn. Mr. Grumpy.
Mr. Grumpy.
This is the equivalent of sticking my fingers in my ears and going la la la.
Yeah. Poor Arsenal's first attack.
Nobody at the back post.
And I'm not quite sure what's gone on there. And I don't know if this is because we're missing our regular defenders. As we said, no Souček, no Dawson in that 6-yard area. I mean, it looks to me like Manuel Lanzini was the man charged with marking holding there. And if that's the case, I find that absolutely mystifying. I mean, I'm sure that isn't the case, but we'll have to have another look at that.
Yes.
Anyway, West Ham have got a corner now. We're up the other end of the pitch. Nick's still munching away. I'll take the reins for a second. Pablo Fornals puts the hand up. He's going to float a corner in. It's to the near post. Holding on. Oh, that's a great save. And the second ball, the loose ball, and it's got out by Arsenal. Now, West Ham very, very close to going level there. I think it was Declan Rice who attacked the near post and flicked the header on. Ramsdale, to be fair, pulled off a really, really decent save, but he could only palm the ball up into the air. And then I think it's Ben Ramu who tries to get the rebound and can't quite get it. Let's have another look at this. It's Declan Rice peels off the near post, gets the header flicked. I'm not sure whether he's actually going for goal or whether he's just trying to nod it back across goal. But either way, it's on target. And Ramsdale's pulled off a really decent save to stop the ball going in. West Ham unlucky, Nick. Should be level there, or could have been level.
Should be, yeah. We should be. A cracking save.
I'll take it up again because I can see he's still jumping away there.
Sadly,
you're making me feel hungry.
Isn't this going to be the first time since Moyes has been back we lose 3 in a row?
I don't know. Again, I'm not very good today, am I? Where's Rio when you need him? Our stats man. I don't know. You're pulling out all these super stats now. I've not got a clue this afternoon.
I think if we have lost 3 in a row since he's returned.
Yeah. But anyway, it's the closest West Ham have come to scoring. Need a goal. Craven says, as far as I'm aware, Arsenal haven't conceded from a set piece this season. So that's interesting. But anyway, here's West Ham again. Declan Rice surging through the centre, goes into the box, but he's well marshalled there, and the tackle comes in from El Neni, who was tracking him all the way back. But Arsenal careless, giving the ball away. Mark Noble's got it now. Can the Hammers do something here? West Ham electrified, it seems, by that goal. And Sufos put a great ball in. There's no one in the box, but it's headed over the bar by the goal scorer Holding, and out for another West Ham corner. Craven says, sorry, I can't see us scoring again today, and therefore I think it's game over. Aaron says, that's poor. Who concedes set pieces to Arsenal? Aaron, I guess the team without any central defenders like us, bar Kurt. So I'd like to have a look at that again, because if if that is Lanzini who's been put on Holding, that's crazy. Corners come over. Arsenal have dealt with it at the near post again. Kurt Zuma was trying to get ahead on to that one, but Arsenal now breaking again. Certainly don't want to concede another goal here before half time. 42 minutes gone. It's West Ham United 0, Arsenal 1. The Hammers falling behind a couple of minutes ago to that goal. Aaron says, Aaron, I'm presuming this came just before the goal, but Aaron says, anyone else think we look more fluid going forward without Antonio? Yeah, why not? We certainly, it's a different West Ham, isn't it? I think when you've got Antonio. Antonio gives you that, that bulk and strength. You can poke the ball 40 yards up the field into his chest. He's going to hang on to it. Of course, Bowen's a different sort of player.
He's not even on the bench.
Channels. Antonio.
Yeah.
Yes, he is actually. Yeah, he's on the bench. Yes, one of 9. Yeah, Ariola, Masuaku, Elise, Diop, Kroll, Souček, Vlasic, Yarmolenko, and Antonio. The Arsenal fans going mad. Hobo saying it was Lanzini charged with marking Holding there, which I'm not quite sure the rationale behind that one, but we'll discuss that.
Breathing, I would imagine.
yeah, maybe. Declan Rice plays the ball out wide to Jared Bowen. Now, can West Ham get back? It's plenty of pressure on from the Hammers, stung really by that goal. But yeah, Arsenal can mop it up once again with comparative ease, although that's a really poor touch. And the ball's just rolled out into touch for a West Ham throw. What do you make of that, Nick? Lanzini on holding for the corner? Is it really just a case of, well, that's all we've got, so that's all we can do?
Yeah, that's the only reason I can think of, because otherwise it's completely inexplicable, isn't it? We're not exactly blessed. We've got no Antonio. We've only got Zuma in there. I mean, Dex, he's above 6 foot, isn't he? But other than that, who we got? That's really where we're at, where we are at the moment. We are the team we've got out's a bare bones team, isn't it?
Yeah.
But let's be realistic. Who else is there?
Yeah. Well,
we're equalised.
I can tell you he's there, Jared Bowen, and he's just scored at the other end, but West Ham are level. 25 seconds to go until the end of regulation time. Vladimir Soufal has got an assist. The ball came out to the right-hand side. Soufal got over the top of the ball, drilled it into the centre of the box where Jared Bowen has just put the ball round Ramsdale to make it 1-1. West Ham are level, Nick. And, we were kind of stung into action by that Arsenal goal. Let's just have another look, because there's going to be a VAR check here.
They're going to find something to rule it out.
Yeah, Rice played the ball out wide to Soufal, who's sent it back into the centre where Bowen scored. It's actually taken a deflection off of the Arsenal number 6, Gabriel. But I don't think it's going in without that, to be fair. So a slight touch of fortune for West Ham. There is going to be a VAR check. I think, assuming they're going to take it from the point where we've just seen the steal on TV, it's going to be allowed. No, it's okay. It's fine. It's a goal. West Ham level, Nick. 1-1.
Good try.
Yeah, it was. Are you still munching? You're munching again.
I ain't.
All right. Well,
it's a bargain box thing.
Right.
And it came with a burrito, the Dorito, and something dipped in caramel. These.
Yep.
Never had them before, but they ain't half nice.
Well, they look tasty. I do like a nice Taco Bell, I've got to say. We've got one actually opened fairly close to us. When I say fairly close, I mean about 15 miles away, which, given where we live, is...
Yeah, that is fairly close.
Yeah, it is. That's the half-time whistle. West Ham did have a corner. Said Benrahma won a corner, but no time to take it. And we go into the break on level terms, which I think, Nick, given what we've seen so far, it's really the least we deserve, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think on the balance of play, we deserve to go. We didn't deserve... The thing is, we didn't deserve to go behind. I don't think. We've been pretty resilient. And it was just basically the lack of height in the box that done us on that corner. 1-1's a perfectly fair scoreline as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, to be fair, it was pretty disappointing to go behind, wasn't it? We'd said Arsenal, we'd said moments earlier, Arsenal hadn't scored prior to... not had scored, hadn't had a shot on target or a shot at all prior to that effort, which Fabianski tipped wide, from which came the corner which they scored from. West Ham pretty much in control throughout the game. We were saying, Arsenal very sort of Jekyll and Hyde, up and down. 1 minute one game they play well, next game. But I've been really, really disappointed by them today. I thought they were very lucky. Even now, I think they're very lucky to go in on level terms.
Postcode now. Find out your home sale.
They've not been great. They've not been great, but I know they're up and down and stuff. But they do have quality, and they're still, they're not where they are in the league in the fourth position. You know what I mean? And I know people say this is the worst Arsenal team in ages, and they say the same about Man United.
Yeah,
as well. And it's sort of indicative of where we are as a club. That we're having a season where we're still playing out of our skin and it's exceeding expectations, and yet we're still behind a pretty poor Arsenal and Man United.
Yeah,
quite clearly the gap ahead of us
Introducing cheese
was massive,
that makes every day reward.
almost as massive as us.
Cheese, you can earn 100% interest on your cheese saver.
we've got a lot of feedback coming from some. Is that yours, Nick? I can't find it somewhere. I'm muted. But I can hear adverts, TV adverts. That's better.
Yeah, they are now. Yeah, I've just muted me doings there. Sorry, that's been on all afternoon.
I've not. No, we must have been rabbiting on so much. I'd not noticed any feedback. Let's have a quick look at the highlights of the first half. We'll jump off for we'll take a 5-minute break, and I'll update that score behind me because that's not right, is it? That's definitely not 0-0 still. Nothing really happened for the first half hour, did it? It was West Ham on top, really couldn't create much, looking for an opportunity that never really came. Pablo Fornals had a chance in 28 minutes, which he fired over the bar. Nick said was a very, very good opportunity for West Ham. Didn't really take it. Ben Ram, a couple of minutes later, had a shot blocked by an elbow. We thought might be a penalty, but nothing doing. I'm not sure it was even checked by VAR. We don't even know if it was off his elbow. We couldn't make our mind up, and you guys watching on the stream couldn't make your minds up either. We were kind of split whether it was an elbow or into his ribs. We don't know. Doesn't matter anyway, as I said, because nothing came of it. Declan Rice, 34 minutes, had a shot, little surge through the centre. Decent chance, but didn't quite get his angles right. Easy save for the keeper. And then 38 minutes, Lucas Fabianski makes a great save, diving to his left, pushing the ball around the post. Arsenal's first effort on goal, and then the goal. It's Nick. It's a set piece, straightforward, the sort of thing that West Ham normally, lap up. It's meat and drink for us on a regular occasion. But as we said, no Dawson, no Souček, no Diop today. And it looks like the diminutive Manuel Lanzini was marking holding for the corner. And as such, it was a bit of a mismatch.
Yeah. Total mismatch. But what can you do? What can you do when you're leaving your tall players on the bench or they're suspended for a dodgy red card against Chelsea?
Yeah.
Which is the fact of the matter, isn't it? Dawson would be in there if it wasn't for Lukaku doing his dying swan impression.
Well, that and also the fact that Michael Oliver gave a yellow card, and then someone at Stockley Park decided that, whereas Oliver had decreed that not all 4 criteria required to give a red card in that situation had been met, asked him to have a look at it again. And
yeah, quite. But then if Lukaku hadn't gone down like a big fanny, then
yeah, no, of course.
Wouldn't have asked the question, would he?
Anyway, 1-0 at that point to Arsenal. West Ham absolutely stung, as we saw, by that goal. The reaction was superb. I've got to give full credit to the Hammers. Declan Rice again driving the team forward, pulled off the near post for a corner and nearly saw a flicked header hit the back of the net. Ramsdale making a really good save. But it wasn't to be long before West Ham did level in the final minute of the first half. Declan Rice again involved. How instrumental is he? He's just at the heart of everything West Ham do good, isn't he, at the moment? Lovely little pass out to the right-hand side to Vladimir Soufal, back in the team today. Soufal, first-time centre from where Jarabine got a little bit of luck, a little bit of deflection off the defender, Nick. But one thing I did want to touch on and looking at this is how few assists our fullbacks have got this season. Cresswell, Johnson, Frederick, Soufal, just not really been grabbing the assist, but that was a really decent ball that he played in and begging to be put away, and good stuff from West Ham.
That was a nice bit of play, that, and it does Soufal's confidence the world good. He needs to play on Thursday. I think he needs to play on Thursday. Johnson over on the left. That's what I want to see, but I don't think he's going to do it, sadly. And that's not anything against Cresswell at all, but we looked so much better against Lyon when Cresswell was out. We were bemoaning our luck that he got sent off and was going to miss the game.
Yeah.
Great servant to the club. I love him. He's one of my favourite players. But I'm not saying there's no room for sentimentality in football. Because there should be, but I'm kind of twisted because there shouldn't be either. You put your best team out each and every time. And whilst it would be lovely for Cresswell to remain at left back because he's a loyal servant and give him the chance, we'd be better off with Johnson at left back and Soufal at right back, Dawson and Zuma, and we will not lose on Thursday. So if we do lose on Thursday, it's because Moyes didn't do that.
I like it. I totally disagree for what it's worth, but I would always, I would always have Cresswell. I'm a big fan, but you know, I can completely understand your point of view there. It certainly makes a lot of sense. I'm not sure. I think from Johnson's point of view, I'm not sure he's really ready for those big games just yet. But anyway, the Moyes will, Mr. Moyes will decide what the team's going to be, and we shall see. We shall see what happens on Thursday. We'll talk about that in a bit. I'm going to take a break in just a minute. Go on.
Johnson was ready for the Lyon game, though.
Yeah, I mean, yes, we didn't put a foot wrong. It's fair to say, but I think that was a different game. I think Lyon just fell to pieces, didn't they? Once we scored, and they just, I don't know. You're right. I have no counter argument. It's fair to say I'm fluffing them around here, but no, you're absolutely right. He did do okay, but I'm not sure. I think Frankfurt are a little bit smarter than that, but than Lyon anyway. But we shall see. What else have we got to cover before we take a little break, Nick? Anything else you wanted to touch on?
I think that's great. We'll take the 5 minutes, and
Right.
I can finish with caramel dippy things, and the second half I will be food free.
Excellent. I'm going to go and have a bite to eat now and see what I can nab out the fridge for the bit. We shall be back with you very, very shortly, folks. Thank you for your company in the first half. We'll be back in a few minutes in the second half. It is West Ham United 1, Arsenal 1 at the break. Holding scoring for Arsenal, 139 minutes. Jarrod Bowen levelling for West Ham right on the stroke of half-time, which sets us up very, very nicely for the second half. We shall be back again very soon, and we'll see you then. See you on the other side.
Hello, welcome back. Don't know what Graham's doing, but he's probably munching on a Yorkshire pudding or something. We're back underway on my stream. He's saying we have played how many? 46 minutes, 43. The score is still 1-1, and I feel like I'm a rabbit stuck in headlights doing this all on my Todd. So, yes, bear with me. Oh, what we got here on the stream? Arsenal, come on. Oh, we got a Gooner on. Oh, this would be fun. And now it's Graham's turn to come on munching. I'll try to hold it down, mate, but rabbit in headlights here. And it's still 1-1. And he's going to get another Yorkshire pudding.
Thank you. Thanks, Nick, for holding the fort there while I was stuffing my face with a huge cake. Second half is underway, as Nick has rightly pointed out. West Ham United won. Arsenal won. We're actually 3 minutes in. And that first yellow card was just shown to Bakary Sacco. I think let's have another look at this. Bowen had the ball. Sacco's taken a couple of little flicks out at him, and Mike Dean, to his credit, we've not had to mention him yet so far today, and he's actually got one right there, and Sacco is in the book as West Ham burst forward looking to get this second goal. I think that's just going to run out of play for an Arsenal goal kick. Mike Dean, Nick, how is it that we've got to 48 minutes in the game without even mentioning him yet? That's quite bizarre.
It is, because it's only just because you've mentioned it that I knew that Mike Dean was ref today.
Right.
Maybe he's mellowed out in his old age, that he's retiring. Because he's retiring, isn't he? From actual match, like running on the grass kind of thing. He's still going to be the... what do you call it? He's still going to be the VAR bloke, though, isn't he?
Yeah. Yes, you're right. He's this is his final season as a Premier League manager, referee, should I say, not manager. Although I'm sure he thinks after time he's refereeing that he's managing one or two of the teams. It's hard to think of all the referees that we've had over the years. It's hard to think of one who has made more controversial decisions against us than Mike Dean, and even in this particular fixture. I mean, I go back to the incident at, excuse me, it's repeating on me. Dennis Bergkamp was escaped a sending off about 20 years ago, 2002, 2003 it was, at Highbury, and went on to score the winning goal. I think they beat us 2-1 that night. But ever since then, it's just like, it's Mike Dean, dogged by controversy whenever West Ham play. Of course, I guess the most recent, the most obvious example, Nick, would be the Thomas Souček incident at Fulham.
Oh, blimey. Yeah. Yes, that was pretty inexplicable, that one.
Yeah.
You mentioned Mike Dean. Who's the other bloke that we used to win? In fact, there's been plenty of refs we used to win. Rennie. He was one. When you saw him, you knew that there would be some absolutely brain-numbing decision. And you're like, what? Howard Webb as well. He's another one who ain't going to be that ain't missed.
Rob Styles was always the one for me. I always remember.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think he's given up quite a few years ago now, but he was always the one that I used to see his name on the team sheet and think, oh, here we go again. This is bad news. But to be fair, I mean, if Noam was sitting here right now, he'd be saying, well, give us one that you like. That would be a much shorter list. Michael Oliver, of course, has had his moments, but it kind of, see, this is one of the things that playing in Europe this year has kind of, it's really stood out for me, that the difference in quality and caliber of the teams of officials. Well, hang on a sec. This is a chance for West Ham with Bowen. Oh, now this is interesting. Now, now let's have a look at this. Now, a long ball over the top has been played to Jared Bowen. Bowen has flicked the ball past Ramsdale. He's come rushing out of his penalty box. Ramsdale was caught Bowen and took him down. And Ramsdale's furious, intimating that he didn't touch him at all. Mike Dean's got running over his hand in his pocket. You think there's going to be a big card coming out, and it's a yellow card. And West Ham have a free kick. No real advantage for West Ham. Let's see
That
what's
should
going
have
on
been in
here.
red.
Well, let's have a look at this. I mean, this is again, this comes down to the whole denial of a goal scoring opportunity. And now let's have a look.
Have you got the VAR or
no? And I think what saved Ramsdale here is that there's two things. One is the distance from goal he is, and two is the fact that when Bowen flicks the ball past him, he's not going directly towards goal. He's going out towards the corner flag, and there's one, possibly two Arsenal defenders who would have been able to cover the goal. So I think that's why it's not been a red card in that instance. And I have to say, reluctantly, I agree with Mike Dean on that.
yeah, but I suppose it could be argued that if he hadn't come rushing out, then Bowen wouldn't have tapped the ball towards the corner flag.
Yeah.
It was reckless, completely reckless. But no, again, I try and base stuff on what it'd be like if it was against us. And yeah, I'd be pretty fuming if Fabianski had done that and he'd been sent off. But I would have understood it though. If he'd gone, I don't think there would have been any arguments, to be honest. And I'm quite amused at the comments on the let's just say the extracting the urine comments on the YouTube chat because of my fine holding the fort here from Bob Claret and from Hobo.
Yeah, I was going to touch on those in just a minute. Yeah, I mean, it seems it went down particularly well. Well done. Well done.
If it wasn't a family show, there would have been hand signals at this point.
Arsenal have a corner. 53 and a half minutes gone. Now, can we pick up holding a little bit better on this occasion? Mark Noble seems like he's marking the Arsenal centre-half on this occasion. But we'll see what happens. The ball comes over. It's Saka, who was booked a few moments ago, delivers. This time, West Ham get it clear. I think it's Cresswell, actually, who gets the header. But it's only for... and Arsenal scored. Arsenal are ahead.
Oh, here we go again from a set piece.
Well, it's a set piece that West Ham haven't dealt with. It's only cleared to the edge of the penalty box. The ball is floated over to the far post again. And the header's coming from Gabriel, the other centre-half. And Fabianski's beaten, and West Ham are behind again, as Nick says.
Sorry, Fabianski should have done better there. He should have done better there. You can't be getting beat when you're almost covering the near post and you're still beaten. And you're a Premier League keeper. No, not for me, mate. Let me see it again before I tear strips off him. But from where I'm sitting and where I've just seen, Fabianski should not be getting beaten at his near post like that. No.
I think you might want to have a look at the slow motion because it's. I mean, I think that's a bit harsh. I've got to be honest with you. It's, he could have gone across him. But the point is another point to make here. Lanzini again, who's let his man go. Lanzini is closest to Gabriel when the ball is out on the other side of the box as it's drilled over. It's Lanzini who's let him go. Now, what's going on here? Is there a VAR check for something? Is there a handball check?
It's come off his thigh. It's come off Fabianski's thigh and gone in.
Nick, I think there's a VAR check. No, it's been given. There was a VAR check. Now, initially, the corner came over, and I think it struck Holding on the forearm. It certainly looks like it. Yeah. There's been a VAR check, and it's been ignored. Now, I'm slightly surprised, or not. I'm not surprised by that because it's Arsenal. Without wanting to, say, get into that pit of misery, and it's all against us sort of thing. But it certainly looked like it was. It came off Holding's arm there. And if that's the case, that really should have been disallowed, that goal, but it hasn't. What's your views on that? I haven't seen it.
It's just calamitous all round. You could argue that shouldn't have been given. He had his arm. I mean, where does he put his arm? He's jumped up as Kufel's jumped up. It's resting on the top of his shoulders, and that's where the ball's hit. I'm not sure. And again, I've got nothing to stick up for Arsenal again. Looking again, if that was us, I would have been spitting feathers. He had nowhere he could have put his arm. Unless the rule is, no matter where your arm is, if it hits it, it shouldn't go in. My biggest gripe is that was, I still think, I've watched it in slow motion. It's come off Fabianski's thigh. He's flapping at it. He should have been stopping that. He should have been stopping that, but shouldn't have been in the situation in the first place. But I'm not going to tear strips off Lanzini because he ain't a defender. Let's have that right. You know, it's like you're not going to tear strips off of Diop or Dawson for missing one-on-one at a keeper because they're defenders. You know, Lanzini ain't a defender, and if I can't criticise the bloke for him losing his man.
West Ham
shouldn't be his job. We've been left in this position where we're relying on a 5'6" midfielder to be a defender. I know there's a 5'8" Steve Potts we could refer to, but no, it's hard. Just a catalogue of errors, wasn't it?
It is, yeah, unfortunately, and West Ham are behind. Now, interesting. I've got to take you back because I initially reported that Ramsdale had been booked for bringing Jared Bowen down. Don't think that was the case at all. I think it's actually Bowen who's been booked for diving. So yeah. So that whole argument we were having about, or debate we were having about whether it should have been a red card or yellow card is moot because it looks like Bowen was the one who's actually got booked. Of course, little more than 60 seconds later, Arsenal score the second goal at the other end of the field. What do you make of that, Nick?
I think that's unbelievable. I think that's unbelievable. However, I didn't want to say it at the time, but it did look like that he didn't touch Bowen. I thought, well, no, because he's been booked, he must have.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see that again before I tear a strip off Mike Dean. Because my initial thought he didn't touch him, but then when he showed the card, I was like, oh, okay, maybe he did. Interesting. No, I need to see that again.
While we've been talking about that, Nketiah's had a shot which is put straight at Fabianski, which the poll has saved on this occasion. What do you think about the second goal, team? Do you agree with Nick? Do you think Fabianski was poor? Should have done better for the second goal? Let us know in the comments section. Let us know what you think. But whatever, it is West Ham United 1, Arsenal 2. The Hammers falling behind for a second time, as was the case on Thursday night against Frankfurt. West Ham bereft of central defenders, only Kurt Zuma, the recognised centre half out there today, and it's showing because that's two set pieces from which Arsenal have scored directly and indirectly, of course. But West Ham got it all to do now. We're just coming up to the hour mark. It's 2-1 to the visitors. As I said there, Nick, what do you do now for David Moyes? Do you think about maybe bringing on someone like Souček to firm up the defence in those situations, or actually give us a bit more of an influence at attacking set pieces, because we're struggling there today, clearly.
It depends on what's going through Moyes' mind at the moment. Is it going to be worth it to the degree of he's started with a half a second string team.
Yeah.
Now we're only an hour into the game, so what we've got with stoppage time, 35 minutes left. We ain't doing too bad. We've been undone by two set pieces and absolutely diabolical defending and goalkeeping. What is Souček's bringing on Souček and the big guns and risking them injury really going to change the dynamic of this game?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it is. I don't think it will. So I know it is broken, but I can't see by bringing it on. They've got to get, by the time they get up to speed in the game and stuff, they're going to be coming on cold. There's risk of muscle injuries. Moyes needs to stand by his decision. If we're going to make substitutions, bring on another centre back, so that we're not relying on a 5'6" bloke marking people at corners. You know, that's the sort of substitutions I'll be making, rather than risking the people that we need on Thursday night.
Okay, good stuff. Let us know what you think. Would you bring on some of the more established first teamers, or do you think Nick's right? Maybe give Elise a run out for the last half hour or so. Mike Dean's just given another free kick. I'm going to come back to that, because this is Mike Dean. How many times do we see players booked for diving in the Premier League these days, Nick? I mean, it's rife. Let's be honest. Liverpool are masters of it. Arsenal, of course, we saw in the corresponding fixture earlier in the season, were diving all over the place. I think there's an argument to be had for their second goal, that there was a dive involved there. Well, hang on a sec, West Ham are attacking. Jared Bowen on the right-hand side gets his cross across. It's only half cleared. Side Benrahma plays it back to Fredericks, and West Ham, can we get the ball in? Declan Rice with the ball on the left-hand side. Come on, Declan, sling it in, son. Plays a square ball. We'll come back to it if anything happens. Diving, Nick, is it, you know, why do we not see more players booked for it in those circumstances? And those who are habitual and do it week in, week out. I'm talking players like Mo Salah and Cristiano Ronaldo.
This is who they played for. There's no other answer to that.
Is it as simple as that? It's just a big club bias.
It is
Right.
as simple as that in my book. You got the Everton player that was booked for diving, then didn't get given a penalty.
That's Liverpool. Yeah.
You know, resting the case then, it's against Liverpool. I know people think it's paranoid and stuff like that when you say that there's a big six bias. But I think over the last couple of seasons, this big six bias has reared its ugly head to the point where it's undeniable.
Yeah.
It is undeniable. It's so obvious and so blatant now that they're not even hiding it.
Okay.
Whether that's got anything to do with the threat of the breakaway league and then buggering off to this European Super League, I've got no idea.
Okay.
Without meaning to sound too conspiracy theorist, I kind of think that may well be the case. Because if you've got confirmation bias or you've got unconscious bias because of who they are and whatever, but it's becoming too blatant. It's becoming too blatant to the point it's hiding in plain sight.
Yep. It does, yeah. It does make you wonder what's going to be done if anything. Presuming nothing is going to be done, because it's been going on for so long now. Just a couple of comments on that. Hobo saying on a replay, it looked like there wasn't any contact as such, but did Bowen dive or was he trying to ride what was a reckless challenge? And I think Hobo's actually made a really very valid point there, Nick, that he's put the ball round the goalkeeper. Whether he's dived or not, he's you know, there could have been a leg break. If he leaves his leg there and Ramsdale connects, you know, he could be facing a long time on the sidelines. He could have done, but I think it deserved a booking for it being a completely reckless and out of control challenge. If you've done that anywhere else on the pitch, or if that was an outfield player doing that, that would have been a yellow card. But the way Bowen threw his legs up, it did look like he'd been caught. And if he hadn't been caught, then yeah, he deserved the yellow card. But by the same token, there needs to be consistency. Well, that's the point, isn't it? You can't just fight to West Ham and not everyone else.
Yeah, I've not got an issue with Bowen getting a yellow card if there was no contact and he threw himself to the floor. No problem with that. We'll start doing it for the big six teams as well.
Yep.
So that there is consistency. And then you won't have hairy-ass ball blokes sitting on a YouTube podcast thinking that there's bias against the big six. Consistency is the key. Yeah,
you're absolutely right. I'll make you right. It's and we don't get it in the Premier League. And but then again, I mean, the interesting thing is, I think that pretty much every fan from whatever club looks at it and says the same. Even those in the perceived top 5 or top 6, whatever they call it these days, they think they. I mean, Man United fans, I know, for example, think they get a rum do from the officials, having kept an eye on some of their forums throughout the season, and it's quite ludicrous, really. But yes, Bob, you're right. I do need to update the score. I kind of half forgotten and half decided not to, but yeah, I'll do that in just a second. Craven says, so Bowen gets booked for diving today. Arsenal don't get a player booked for diving. And Hobo says, Deal's right. It's blatant in every sense. Tony Mitchell adding that if they booked every player for diving, most matches would be abandoned by half-time. Nick, is that perhaps not what we need to do then?
That is what we need to do to eradicate it. It's a scourge on the game. It's awful. I've never got on it. You know, when you go back to the days before Jurgen Klinsmann came to the Premier League with Tottenham, when diving really weren't a thing. And at the moment, seeing the amount of diving that goes on there, you look at back then, how somebody with a reputation for diving like Klinsmann had, was actually pretty upstanding player, wasn't he? When you look at it that way, when you compare it to the likes of Salah and or anyone in a Liverpool shirt, basically.
Right.
Same as that. Who's the other one? The Man United, not the Man United, the Crystal Palace bloke that goes down, that likes to dive. Saha.
Wilfried.
Yes, he's another one. But it's just too many to list. Too many to list. But make a living out of cheating. And that's what it is at the end of the day. It's cheating.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're right. Klinsmann, of course, was the kind of the catalyst, wasn't he, really, for the diving in the Premier League. And so much so that even he used to take the mickey out of himself by his goal celebration was that dive thing he used to do, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But it's certainly gone downhill since then. Jared Bowen's just hit the deck, appealing for a free kick, which Mike Dean has just waved off just outside the Arsenal penalty box. Doesn't look like he's going to be getting any change from Mike Dean this afternoon, Nick. Poor Jared.
No, and again, I kind of make it right now. You've died, mate. You know, unless you're getting clattered, you're not getting nothing.
Yeah.
Again, if you did it to every single player that did it, wouldn't have a problem with it. Wouldn't have a problem.
Anyway, we are 3/4 of the way through this game, into the last 22 minutes. It's still West Ham United 1, Arsenal 2. The Hammers going a goal down on 38 minutes, equalising the final minute of the first half before Gabriel putting Arsenal back ahead in the 54th minute. Was it not the 54th minute in which Frankfurt scored the other night, their second goal? It was about them, wasn't it?
Let's have a look.
But anyway, well, once again, the Hammers.
It was indeed. It was indeed.
Performance. Yeah, interesting. Same scoreline as well. Again, clearly not learning lessons from Thursday night. But
you need to update the score behind you.
I'm right now, aren't I?
Oh yeah, you are now.
Right now. Can't see it. I've got the chair in the way. There we go. There's a 1. There's a 2. There we go. We've got it. We've got it right.
I think it's quite hilarious on the forum, right?
Yes.
Hammers fan IOW. Bearing in mind that the forum is a West Ham United forum.
Yeah.
In a match trip against Arsenal, that always seems to get a rubber the green against us for the officiating.
Yeah.
So many claret and blue glasses on at the moment, it's laughable. What do you expect, mate? It's a West Ham forum. Really? Unbelievable.
Yeah. Yes. I know the poster in question. I shall say no more. Michael Antonio is coming on. I can tell you that much. Is this going to be Jared Bowen given a rest for the last 20 minutes? We'll see. What number's that there? No, it's Manuel Lanzini. So it looks like maybe Moyes is going with a 2-pronged attack here. This is an interesting one. Or maybe Bowen's just going to drop back a little bit and fill the hole vacated by Lanzini.
There's also mentioned on the thread about Lanzini being a defensive liability. Yes, because he's not a defender, mate.
He's not a defender. Exactly. Yeah, I'm not sure that we can legitimately criticise a diminutive midfielder for not picking up great big ugly centre halves for set pieces. I think that might be just a little bit beyond the pale, but there you go. A lot of things said in anger. What do we think, team? Can we get back into this? Do we think West Ham are going to pull something out of the hat here? I'm not so sure. It's been been pretty disappointing week so far, and get the feeling this might cap it. You said 3 defeats in a row under Moyes never happened before, Nick. Is that right?
No, I don't think it's happened since he's been back the second time. I'm not even sure if it's happened. It happened in his first stint either, actually. That would be one for Rio, perhaps, if he comes on after that full time.
Yes, Rio, of course, at the game. Now, here's a chance for West Ham across from Ben Rama. Finds Pablo Fornals, who has a shot, but it's blocked. Now, Arsenal looking to counter. This is dangerous. Kurt Zuma's going to have to stand his man up. And, it's very, very close. Nearly 3-1. But fortunately, it was Nketiah who actually picked up the ball on the counter attack and raced towards goal. and cut inside Kurt Zuma and fired across Lucas Fabianski. But fortunately for West Ham, it's just wide of the target. Fabianski wouldn't have got it if it had been a few more inches to the left. But let's have another look. Have a good angle here. How far wide was it? Leave Zuma for dead. It's not far away, so it's shaved the post, actually. It's very, very close to being 3-1. But maybe that's a turning point, Nick. We had one earlier, didn't we, when Bowen was...
maybe. I didn't see it because I'm actually currently scaring stat sites for a full list of Moyes' results from both his stints to see if we have lost 3 in a row at any time. I can't recall it.
No.
If we have, it would have been during his first stint, I would have thought. Or at the very start of his second, but even then I don't think we have. I think that was one of those stats where we rarely lost more than we didn't lose more than 2 in a row. I don't know. I mean, someone with more intelligence and knowledge than me will surely correct me.
Arsenal on the break again, looking to add what would no doubt be a killer third. Of course, talking of statistics, and Moyes is West Ham. Well, we've just seen a shot come in. It's well over the bar, not troubling Fabianski at all. But was it not at Arsenal earlier in the season? I think we'd gone something like 20 months, hadn't we, without being beaten by more than a single goal. And then we went to Arsenal and we were beaten 2-0, weren't we, earlier in the season? Just a quick word coming back to talk about substitutes. Looks like Thomas Souček is about to come on. Moyes has obviously completely ignored your advice, Nick, by putting Antonio and Souček on by the looks of it.
Well, yeah, that's why I'm sitting here on the stream and he's out there as a millionaire as a football coach. So,
well, not necessarily. We're losing today, so who knows? You could be right, but it does look like Big Tom is about to come on anyway, and hopefully give West Ham a bit more impetus in the air from attacking situations.
No, just go through the forum again.
Okay. Hobo saying that I'd be shifting Bowen in case he gets another dodgy yellow. Of course, yeah, Bowen on that booking. Of course, worth pointing out, perhaps, in case there's any, in case anyone's unsure, if any West Ham player was to be sent off today, it would not affect Thursday night's team selection because the UEFA competitions, the Europa League, does not take into account domestic cautions, booking, sending off. So that makes no difference. Mark Noble's just floated a crossing, or drilled a crossing, more like already floated, drilled a crossing from the right-hand side, looking for Mickey Antonio, but Antonio is blocked and unable to get on the end of it as we approach the final 15 minutes of this game. Yeah, Craven on the forum saying we've lost anyway. They nearly always get one over on us, and no doubt they'll get a third soon. We'll see. We'll see this time. West Ham now in the ascendancy once again, attacking on the left-hand side now with Ryan Fredericks. Looking to do something, but no real options. Arsenal sitting back, defending, deepening numbers. Of course, a win for them here would certainly make a difference in terms of the Premier League table. It would put them back above Tottenham and put them 2 points clear of Spurs. They're big rivals. But we'll see. Any luck with that, Nick? Any thoughts on that sequence?
No,
sorry, you're looking at the forum now, aren't you? Sorry.
I am. Yeah, there ain't much to say, to be honest.
No.
It just another poster putting up fellow fans for their opinions on the goalkeeper rushing out. Comment of something like, if Fabianski had done that and been sent off, we would have been saying that the striker's a diver, etc. So I've replied, well, who would have thought the football supporters were parties there? It's amazing.
Kurt Zuma's just made a really good tackle.
I thought you were going to say he was injured then, the way you opened with that.
No, and Ketia tried to do him for speed on the outside, but Zuma did really, really well to stand his ground and muscle off the Arsenal forward and just play the ball back into Lucas Fabianski. Ball at the wrong end of the pitch, of course, but still plenty of time. We have an Arsenal player on the ground receiving treatment for cramp, which always Makes me wonder how genuine it is after 76 minutes. Thomas Souček is coming on. Who's he coming on for? Let's have a look. That's Mark Noble. Skipper, co-captain, back out. Probably is the longest he's played, I would imagine, for maybe this season, Nick. But what did you make of his performance today?
Quite anonymous, really. Which, from a defensive midfielder, central midfielder, is kind of what you want, isn't it?
Yeah.
Quietly going about his business. On the forum, I've not seen one post saying, "Why is Mark Noble out there?" So yeah, he's quietly gone about his job today. Done an all right job.
There's been a change for Arsenal as well. Cedric coming on for Tomiyasu, so a change for both teams there as we come into the final 13 minutes. You know, now this is probably, we were talking about irrational things on the last stream, irrational dislikes and hates, and it is another one that's probably a little bit strange. But Arteta, he's constantly out of his managerial zone. You know, they've got the squares right on the side of the pitch. Whenever the camera is panned to him today, or to that area of the pitch, he's not in that zone at all. He's running up and down the touchline and you know, flapping furiously like Flappy Bird or whatever. But he's never in his zone. I mean, what's the point of those zones if they're not kept to?
Again, it depends on who the manager is, doesn't it? Pretty sure that if it was David Moyes and, I don't know, Sean Dyche, even though he's no longer managing at the moment, I'm pretty sure they'd be getting told to go back in their technical area. Now, I've just sent you a photo on Facebook. Don't worry, it's not like that. But take a look at it. It's on Messenger.
Okay.
And take a look at it, and maybe it's quite clear that perhaps our friend Mike Dean has made a bit of a wicket in regards to booking Jared Bowen.
Right. Well, I'll tell you, I can actually share this photo, I think. Bear with me just 1 second. Let's see if we can do this with everyone else, and let everyone else have their say on what they think about it. Let's see if I can do this now. No, that's the wrong button. Let's try that one. Let's try that one. Right. Okay. This is the said picture which Nick is referring to. As you can see, it's a picture of Ramsdale challenging back. Now, you know, the thing that strikes me about that, it's not so much that it looks like there's contact, and it's difficult to tell because it's a freeze frame, and you know it could go either way. But what really strikes me about that, Nick, is that the goalkeeper's facing the wrong way. How can he have any control?
He's got no control. He's got his studs up, and he's being completely reckless.
Yeah.
And that in itself is a yellow card for that keeper. Whether he touched him or not, he was out of control, and it was a reckless challenge.
Yeah.
By the laws of the game. And it's ain't claret and blue specs. Before I get accused of it, you know, as a West Ham fans accused another West Ham fans on the forum of having claret and blue specs. It's reckless. He's out of control with his studs showing, which is a booking in its own right.
Yep, I think you've got a fair point there. It's I've just seen Hobo's comment. It's a curious decision, but you know, Mike Dean maybe not. It's probably par for the course, really. But there you go. Let us know what you think. I mean, you've all seen the still. We've just shared it with you, I think. Did you see that? I think you saw it. But Hobo says, not a picture of tractors, I hope. DL.
Yes, I see. And Steve Palmer and all. Cheers, Steve. I must have form if I've got to qualify the pictures genre before people open it. It's the memes that I send in the group, in the WhatsApp group, you see.
It looks like David Moyes is really going for it here this afternoon because Said Benrahma is the third and final West Ham player to come off, and he's been replaced by Andrei Yarmolenko. So that's Antonio, Yarmolenko, and Bowen all on the pitch at the same time.
Well, you can't say that he's not making attacking substitutions, can you?
Well, no. They can't.
Benrahma, what is the point? I still don't. I know people on the forum say he gets you out the seat and he's exciting, but he's just one of those signings we've made of why.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. Yeah, it's great, his little trickeries and stuff like that, but it's the end product. Good God.
Do you know what? There was I was behind the goal on Thursday night that we were attacking in the second half, and when he came on as sub, there were two sublime moments. The first one, I'm trying to think what it was now, but there were two moments that the crowd were like, ooh. The second one, of course, being the one where he cut inside and curled the shot, which just grazed the post. But then within the next 5 or 6 minutes, he had a shot which nearly took the corner flag out. And then about 60 seconds later, he gave the ball away in a really promising position, just played the ball to an opposition player. And that kind of summed up Said Benrahma's career at West Ham for me in the space of like 5 minutes. It was 2 moments of absolute, almost not brilliance, but it was good stuff. And from that to the absolute ridiculous within, as I say, within a couple of minutes. And that's just the way he is. And it's a strange one, isn't it? I don't understand why some people ignore the bad stuff or the other way around. I mean, you're right. It's almost like it's, I don't know. It's almost like religious fervour in a way. I think the way some fans think he's the answer and the solution to all our woes, and yet there's others who absolutely. And there's one or two of us, of course, in our group, who think he's an absolute waste of space and should be sold as soon as possible.
I think we should. He's not a David Moyes player whatsoever, and to me he's frustrating. I'd love to get excited by him because he has got tricks and whatnot up his sleeve that you think, yeah. But the difference between a top quality player, and I don't mean world class, I mean a top quality player with tricks and stuff up their sleeve is the end product as well. You think, the jink past the man, a little bit of skill, and then bang in the top corner.
Yeah.
He hasn't got the end result in his locker often enough. He has scored the odd goal here and there this season. But to me, he doesn't stick it in the back of the net enough, or doesn't make that killer ball, or he makes the completely wrong decision, or he'll do the sublime piece of skill and then balls it right up by giving it to the opposition, or by sticking it in Rowe's head, or by trying, because he done a curling shot, didn't he, on Thursday that was about 20 foot wide at the post. And
that was, but it came right after. That's what I'm saying. It came right after the one that hit the post.
You've done the hard work, mate. Now do the easy bit. And it's the easy bit that he cocks up on.
Yeah.
Send it back to Brentford. Nothing against him. Sorry, Benny. But go where you're happy. Because I don't think he's happy here anyway, because he's not a David Moyes type of player. Now, whether it's a Sullivan thing, whether it was Moyes saying to him, get him on loan and I'll see what he's like. And then it was a case of, his hand was forced because of Lingard becoming available.
Yeah.
And obviously we wouldn't have been able to sign Lingard without signing Benny on the permanent. I don't think it's really ever going to happen for him here. Now, he might go to Brentford or another lower table, because I still believe he's too good for the Championship, but not particularly good enough for the Premier League either. He's kind of in limbo in between, like Mitrovic at Fulham.
Yeah.
One of those type. Smashes it up in the Championship. Found to be wanting a little bit in the Premier League. Maybe he'll be good at a Brentford or even Palace. He's got Crystal Palace player written all over him, isn't he? Really?
I think that's a really good shout, actually. Yeah, I mean I agree with you completely. At risk of incurring the wrath of the any Benrahma fans, loyalists that are watching on the stream, but I everything you said there, I concur with 100%. I don't think he's good enough for this level. He's not consistent enough. He consistently makes the wrong choice, and doesn't score enough goals. And the attitude, I mean, it's kind of. I think it was all sort of wrapped up in that incident we saw a few weeks ago where he was remonstrating with Moyes when he was taken off, and he was saying, "Why always me?" But the reason it's why always you, mate, is because you're not producing. And if you were producing on a regular basis, you wouldn't be coming off, would you? And the onus is on the player, isn't it, in those circumstances, to make the manager change his mind and not to sit there and shout at him.
not forgetting that before Benny, Bowen was a player that was getting substituted.
Absolutely,
every team, okay?
absolutely right.
But look
Yep.
at him now.
Yep.
He's a completely different player to the Jared Bowen that we signed.
Totally right. Yeah, he's got his head down and he's grafted. Yep.
Yeah, you would not think that that's the same Jared Bowen. He's the old cliche is this season Jared Bowen's been like a new signing. He went away in the summer, didn't he? Done all his graft on the farm in the winter with his extra training. He's bulked up. He's come back and he's become our top scorer. And along with Declan Rice, is the undroppable in our team.
So true. Yeah, absolutely right.
Ben Ramos had the chance to do that and all in the summer, but you know he's come back. He's bitched and moaned at the manager, and yeah, he needs to be off for the sake of his own career because he ain't happy, and he doesn't seem to be the type of player that will get his head down and graft.
I think the thing that worries me most about Ben Rama is it's nothing to do with West Ham. It's the fact that he can't even get in the Algerian first team. You know, he's nearly always on the bench, and I'm thinking, you know, they're not one of the best teams in the. Well, I suppose they're in the ANC. They've done okay. They've got a decent record, but in terms of world football, they're not one of the greatest sides, are they? And if you can't even get into their team, you sort of, I'm wondering, you know, how you can expect to start in a top 8 Premier League team on a regular basis. But let us know what you think, everyone. Are you advocates of keeping Ben Rama at the team? Do you think he should go like Nick does? Do you think he's destined for the Championship again, or a lower half Premier League team? Crystal Palace, suggested by Nick, which I think is a great suggestion. I think he's perfect for that. But anyway, back to the game here. Smith throws on for Saka in the 87th minute. We've got just over 2 minutes left here. Jarrod Bowen's gone down, clutching the back of his head, and after a fairly hefty challenge from Cedric. But West Ham are going to get a free kick finally. We just saw a few moments ago, Pablo Fornell was very, very frustrated at not being awarded a corner by Mike Dean, who gave a goal kick instead. It's been that sort of afternoon, isn't it? Mike Dean hasn't done us any favours again. I mean, you know, that one obvious incident that we'll talk about, no doubt, again, the Bowen one and the challenge by Ramsdale. Apart from that, he's not really given us anything at all, is he?
Sorry, I was reading the forum. What miles away?
Mike Dean hasn't done us any favours again today.
No, of course he ain't. He hasn't done himself any favours at all. So I take it back from what I said that I initially, there probably wasn't contact with Bowen, but that's still with the studs up. That enough for me is, even if neither of them got booked, I would have taken that. But the fact that our man's been booked for diving when the keeper's run out, completely reckless, studs up, out of control. No, I think that's quite harsh. There is an argument about the ball on the arm. Quite where the Arsenal player could have put his arm, I don't know. And I'm trying to look at this objectively rather than through me claret and blue supervisor. No, I've got new glasses, by the way. Look, Tommy Hilfiger's lovely.
Very nice, very nice.
Only because I lost my other pair at the Burnley game.
How did? Oh yes, you said you were with Zach, weren't you? And you mislaid them on the way.
I did, yes. And for the last week, I was in sunglasses in the house. They were the only glasses I could see through.
There's a big tear up on the pitch, Nick. While we're banging on here, and Nketiah and Cresswell had a bit of a coming together, and now everyone's decided to join the melee. Mike Dean stood in the middle of it with his yellow card aloft. I think that's for Nketiah, but quite frankly, who knows when Mike Dean's refereeing? We thought he'd booked the Arsenal goalkeeper early in the half.
Yeah.
He'd booked one of our own.
He's probably booked Fabianski.
Nketiah and Rice are squaring up now, and Rice is just repeatedly saying, "Shut up, shut up." You don't need an interpreter to work out what he's saying. Nketiah not coming off the better of the two in that one. Rice really rattled, clearly rattled, being told to go away by Vladimir Sufal. But of course, all this does is help Arsenal. It doesn't do us any favours because the seconds are ticking away. We're 1 minute into 4 added on at the end of this match. West Ham have a free kick. I'm assuming it was Nketiah who was booked there. As I say, I really shouldn't assume, should we? Yeah. And Cresswell's got that kind of scared me or I don't know, strange look on his face. He doesn't seem to quite know what's going on. Oh no, Cresswell's been booked. So there you go.
Oh, there's a surprise.
I got to say I didn't see the incident because I was looking at something else on my screen. But anyway, Lokonga's coming on for Odegaard as Arteta wastes a few more seconds. All that's happened here is we've had 2 minutes of no football, and the clock's just ticked away.
Apparently, according to Steve Palmer on the chat, Fornell's got twatted in the back of the head as well.
Okay.
Was it against Arsenal that Fornell got absolutely wiped out and nothing was given?
Can't remember.
I know there was one game not recently, a few months ago.
Yeah.
I think it was against one of the corrupt six. And he got absolutely wiped out, I think. And they were, I can't remember it was again. I think it was 2 games in a row, actually, it happened against him.
Little stat for you while we're waiting for the play regime. We've barely seen the ball in play for the last 3 minutes now, which has done West Ham no favours at all. West Ham have lost more Premier League games against Arsenal than any other club. 33 times we've been beaten by the Gooners since the inception of the Premier League in 1992. It's going to be 34 in just a few seconds' time, unless we can produce something miraculous in this last 60, 70 seconds. Mikel Antonio's doing the Rory Delap with a long throw into the box. Is this going to fall for a hammer? No, it's not, and Arsenal allowed to break. And I would imagine that will be the last play of the game, unless Arsenal go on and score another one. Smith Rowe's bursting through now. It's 2 against 2. Declan Rice has come back and almost scared him off the ball. But it's going to be a shot coming on, I think, here from Arsenal. Oh dear. No doubt there'll be a few jeers and cheers coming from the home fans there as the ball is sent into row Z by the Arsenal. I can't even see who that is. Couldn't see who it was. But anyway, it comes to nothing. And we are in the final minute, Nick. Dan B saying it was Bowen who got hit on the head. But Steve Palmer saying Fornell's got twatted on the back of the head too. Going back to the Ben Rama debate, Hobo saying, I totally agree with DL. Benny sadly isn't ever going to make it with us. Let us know if you disagree. Do you think Ben Rama can do a Bowen? Anyway, seconds to go. Let's just stick with the game now because we're right on the cusp of full time. 10 seconds of the 4 added on, or the minimum of 4 added on left to play as West Ham desperately look to get a goal. Declan Rice plays the ball into the box into Mikel Antonio, plays it out wide to Fredericks. Come on, Ryan, get a crossover. Cross comes in. It's a poor cross, but only headed out as far as, and that'll be, I imagine that'll be it now. We're over 94 minutes. Arsenal just, and Mikel Antonio's conceded free. And this is why Arteta really winds me up. Arteta's 2 yards away. Well, look at this, and tell me you don't want to get hold of Arteta and just watch what happens here. You'll be just coming up for you now. But
he's on the pitch.
That's what I'm saying. He's never in his technical area, is he? He's never there. You know, and he's almost. I don't know. I just he winds me up. Really winds me up.
No, he's. Why is he allowed to walk on the touchline? And the fourth official's just standing there watching him. Is he?
Yep, and get involved with play like that. It's ridiculous. It's
exactly the phrase, isn't it? He's getting involved with the play. It's like they've got enough with the rest. They've got 13 players on the pitch, isn't they?
It's madness. It's madness. Well, I think the full time whistle was blown, although on my stream where we're still playing, Andrei Yarmolenko's taken a bit of a knock. Yeah, Arsenal have won. The final whistle was blown. My stream's still carrying on. We're 5.5 minutes gone now, but the final whistle has blown. Arsenal just time wasting from what we've seen. That's only 1 win in 7 now for West Ham. There it is. There is the final whistle. 5.5 minutes gone. Arteta congratulated by his teammates, shaking the hand of the fourth official. Of course he is. He's let him get away with murder this afternoon, running up and down the touchline like he's a substitute warming up to get on the field. One manager I really don't have a lot of time for.
So dislikable, aren't they? They really are.
Well, I mean, of course, it was Arteta, wasn't it, in the corresponding fixture earlier in the season? Do you remember where his player went down injured
pushed him back
just
on
off
the
the pitch, and he picked him up and pushed him back on the field of play so they could waste a bit more time. I mean, it's just bizarre, and he gets away with it. And of course, he will continue to get away with it until someone decides to do something about it, which I'm sure they won't. So anyway, the final whistle has blown at the London Olympic Stadium. It has finished West Ham United 1, Arsenal 2. The Hammers only 1 win in 7, without a win now since that quarter-final Europa League success at Lyon. Arsenal celebrate as they go back to 4th in the Premier League, back above Tottenham in that race for a Champions League spot. West Ham well and truly out of the running for that, and possibly not quite out of the running for a Europa League spot. But our chances certainly taken a bit of a major blow today, Nick. We could have gone level with Manchester United we could have gone level in points with Manchester United in 6th had we won today, but defeat means we remain 3 points behind Man U in 6th, in 7th place, and 3 points above Wolves in 8th. What's your assessment on what you've seen today?
We weren't good enough. It's as simple as that. We can argue the supposed yellow cards and the wrongful yellow cards till the cows come home. But fact of the matter remains is, if we were good enough, we would have beaten them, wouldn't we? I don't see that on this occasion. The referees cost us a win, which is all too frequent, or even a draw. No, I wouldn't say we were outdone by the better team, but we didn't do enough to win the game. I don't actually feel at the end of this particularly hard done by either. It is what it is. What is concerning is it's 3 losses in a row. And as you said yourself, it's only 1 win in 7. Take out the fact we're in a Europa League semi-final second leg on Thursday, that is horrendous form. That's not the sort of form any team that's aspiring to Europe should really be carrying in towards the end of the season. People bemoan our squad depth and stuff like that. At the end of the day, you look on the bench, most of the players that play for us were signed now by David Moyes. Are on the bench, and I got it the wrong way round. Most of the players on the bench were signed by David Moyes. None of the players were particularly, how can I put it, game changers. You've got Alex Crowell sitting on the bench. You've got Vlasic sitting on the bench. Our best player is an academy graduate, and our goal scorer was a David Moyes player. The team still seems very dysfunctional at times. The squad depth, he's made a few signings, so the squad depth in a way does need to be on him, doesn't it? The fact that we haven't got the players to bring on to change a game, that we're relying on a 34-year-old Mark Noble in midfield. We're relying on a Manuel Lanzini to do defensive jobs when it's not really ever been part of his game. Not defence. Don't get me wrong. He's good defensively in the middle of the park where he plays. He loves to tackle. But come on, don't vilify him because he ain't a defender and he's having to mark players in the box. It's alien to him. That's completely unfair. I've got a horrible feeling our season is going to fizzle out. I do think, in my heart of hearts, as much as I think we're capable of going out next Thursday and getting something from the game and qualifying and getting through to the final, I think deep down in my hearts of hearts, I think our season's over. And it's not me being maudlin or negative. We've thrown it away when it matters, which is very much what we did in the Village season. The last one at Upton Park, when we could have finished 4th, and we were stuffed by, what was it, Hull, was it? Or who done us 4-1?
Swansea, wasn't it? The
Swansea
home game.
Being beaten by Swansea. Didn't we lose at home to Stoke as well in the running?
Quite possibly. I can't remember.
I know there was another one, and it just seems, regardless who's the manager, and I mean, it's not a case of blaming the owners for this one. Again, we're coming up short when it matters, which is disappointing. And again, it's not, I weren't expecting to get anything from this game. This is nothing. We shouldn't have really needed to worry about this game. We don't ever beat Arsenal. That's just one of those things. 2 wins in 28 verifies that. That's even before Golden's, that's even going back before Sullivan and Gold's time. So we can't really be saying, oh, it's because of the ball. We just seem to choke. We seem we've gone a bit Spursy at the end of during the since January, really.
Yeah.
Whereas Spursy have not gone Spursy. Sadly, it look like they're going to get at the very least fifth. I can't see them getting it wrong, but it's a learning curve. Maybe this is a turning point. Maybe David Moyes will look back on this end of the season and, he seems to me like someone who will stand up and admit to his mistakes. And maybe he'll think if we're in this situation again, that he won't try and bumble with what he's through and being so stubborn. Because as I said in January, we didn't really need somebody to replace Antonio or someone better than Antonio. We needed somebody better than Yarmolenko and Diop, which should have been much easier to find than somebody that was better than Antonio. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I understand his way of thinking. But because of his way of thinking, I think it's going to cost us potentially. I could be wrong. Potentially and absolutely maybe a season. But we shall see. Still 3 games to go and a semi-final to play yet.
Some stats for you before we are joined by Noam, who's just left the London Olympic Stadium. Just pop Noam on mute for a second because of all the background noise there. For the benefit of those of you that have complained in the past about all the noise that we have in the background coming out of the stadium. There you go. Some match stats for you from this afternoon. Possession, West Ham 56% to Arsenal's 44. West Ham 8 shots, 3 on target. Arsenal 13 shots, 7 on target. West Ham 3 corners, Arsenal 7. Of course, 2 of those led to goals. West Ham committing 8 fouls, Arsenal 9. The XG for today, the expected goals, which is based upon the chances created by both teams and the strength of those. West Ham's XG 0.46, Arsenal 0.98, which kind of says a lot about the quality of chances that both teams created in that match. West Ham, of course, in a terrible run of form right now. If you look at the current form table, West Ham are actually in the relegation area, 18th in current form, with only 1 win from our last 6 Premier League matches. 1 win, 1 draw, 4 defeats, 5 goals for, 10 against, only 4 points from our last 6 matches. Yet miraculously, we are still, based upon what a fantastic first 2/3 of the season we had, still in a European spot. But I get the feeling that our luck's going to run out if we carry on losing games. We have lost No momentarily. I'm just about to hopefully get him back on for a bit of a chat. A couple of things I wanted to take you up on, Nick, there based on what you said. You did mention that the referee hasn't cost us today. I'd like to see. I think before we can make that statement, I'd like to see it again. That incident. We'll find out from Noam in just a minute.
Sorry, lads, I'm having terrible problems. I can't hear a thing here.
We can hear you. We can hear you. We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Can't hear you, sorry.
Can't hear us. All right.
I'm going to try something else. I'll be with you in a minute.
Okay, all right. So I'd like to see that incident again, Nick, actually, that thing with Bowen, because we saw the picture which you kindly supplied, which certainly looked like Ramsdale was perhaps a little bit fortunate to escape without any sort of caution. And it's something else. You said we can't blame the owners for the position we're in at the moment, and it kind of sounded to me like he was putting all the blame, if that's the right word, maybe not blame, because we've had a
responsibility.
But yeah, there is.
I think responsibilities are better
on the manager rather than the board. I'm not sure I would agree, and I don't know if. Well, let's see what people think.
Let me elaborate on that. Then.
Please do.
Let me elaborate on that. That is because our manager has come out and said, now unless he's telling porky pies, of course, he did come out and say that there was funds and that they were available for him in January, and that the board had backed him in January to sign players, but he couldn't find the right players. Now, if that's the case, then our manager, and this isn't a criticism of Moyes, this is why I'm saying I'm not going to put it. I suppose you could put it on the board for the lack of investment prior, But if David Moyes is telling the truth when he comes out and says that he had funds available in January and that the board had backed him with funds in January, but he could not find the right players, then who's that on? To me, that is on him. He had money in his pocket to be able to go and spend. And I've advocated even on this very channel in January that we needed to upgrade on Diop and Yarmolenko, really, not Antonio, because at that particular time, Antonio was still in his purple patch, and to have upgraded on him at that particular time, we would have needed to have signed a prime Shevchenko or something. Do you know what I mean? Which weren't going to happen.
Yep.
We're not shopping in that market. So I am putting it on Moyes to the degree of going on by his comments that he said in the public domain in press conferences, he had money, he didn't have he couldn't find the right players.
Okay.
I counter that with, well, you needed to replace, you needed someone better than Diop and Yarmolenko, which is who we were bringing on at the time.
Okay. I think the first point to make about that is that I'm not sure I would give much credence to a manager taking the flack or deflecting the blame from his own employers. I mean, that's what they do, isn't it?
I don't know. Sure David Moyes don't seem the type.
That situation.
I don't think he's the type, and he's, to me, in previous occasions, he has thinly veiled things regarding owners and players and stuff like that. When you read between the lines and you worked out what he's saying, but for him to come out, because I'm not being funny, if he had come out and said, unfortunately, I wasn't in a football manager diplomatic way, I think David Moyes is the type of manager that would have said, without actually saying, I've not had any backing, but there's been nothing like that of the sort.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? That's what I get from him. And we ain't got. I don't like our owners. I'm well aware of that, and I'm not exonerating them because of the many years prior of underinvestment in our squad, or not so much the underinvestment, the foisting of players on managers and stuff like that. Because I still think that Ben Rama was a foist upon Moyes. I don't think Moyes signed him in the slightest.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's throw this one out to our viewers. Let us know what you think. Do you agree with Nick? Do you think this is ultimately down to Moyes, the fact that we failed to strengthen and find ourselves in this position where we're struggling to put out teams for 2 games a week, or do you blame the board, or do you blame neither? Do you just think it's maybe it's a fact of bad luck? We of course have 3. Or have had 3 out of the 4 first team centre halves out due to injury, 4 missing, all with Dawson's red card at Chelsea last week until Zuma was restored, possibly somewhat early on Thursday night. Let's know what you think. Be interesting to hear everybody's views. Do you think our season's over? Do you think that we've got a chance on Thursday night, having failed to win since we beat Lyon in the last game, or do you think the fact that we've rested a couple of players is served us well and will help? Let's know on all those things. We're gonna we are joined by Noam now, as we can see he's walking away from the London Olympic Stadium. Noam, how are you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm bloody glad I don't support Arsenal, mind.
Right.
Anti-football, what is it? Bless them, they're happy, but ignorance is bliss, I suppose.
What was it that you particularly didn't enjoy today about the way they played?
The way they took advantage of Mike Dean. I mean, 4 minutes of stoppage time was an insult. Given that Ramsdale, the slowest or the quickest he released the ball was 17 seconds. Feigning of injury, the diving, just incredible, really.
I think you might have a couple of them behind you.
Thank God we don't have Dean again ever.
Well,
yeah, I know. Yeah, bless them. I think they're grown up as well. Like this smoking, it's so grown up.
Let's have a quick look back at the major talking points of the game. Well, nothing really happened for the first half hour, so we can ignore that. I think the first shot came in from Fornals on 28 minutes, the blocked effort. But it was, of course, Arsenal who took the lead 6 minutes before half time. A bit of tactical genius from West Ham. Someone decided to get Manuel Lanzini to mark the centre half holding, and of course, the consequence was that he essentially had a free header for the goal.
Yes, didn't look good, did it? And yet that was probably their first attack for about 15 minutes. Yeah, it'd been very quiet.
That was their first
There was
shot.
a run of play. Yeah, there wasn't a run of play for it to be against, but it certainly sort of was out of context, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
But,
no, I mean, you're right. That was the save that Fabianski made that led to the corner was Arsenal's first shot at goal, of course. But any it was a strange choice, wasn't it? Putting Lanzini on holding.
I don't know if that was a deliberate thing, or somebody told Lanzini to do that, or it just a lack of concentration. But it certainly shouldn't have been, should it?
It shouldn't. But fortunately, it kind of stirred us into a response, didn't it? The goal, and we were close. We almost equalised about a minute after when we had the near post corner that Declan Rice steps off the post for and flicked on, and Ramsdale actually made a really good save to prevent us from equalising. But then, of course, we did level in the end. It was a lovely part of Declan Rice involved again. Great ball out to Vladimir Soufal, who was just onside at level with the defenders. I mean, there was a VAR check for the goal. He played it central for Jarrod Bowen, who, to be fair, and I don't know what your view was like or whether you've seen replays on the stadium screens there, but it looked to me very much that if there hadn't been a deflection, Ramsdale would have had a fairly comfortable save to make. But as it was, it
certainly took a slight flick, but hey, don't care. Bowen's goal, who's on target, so...
Yes.
And it kind of restored a bit of justice to proceedings.
Yeah, it did. And of course, that all went out the window in the second half as the Mike Dean effect really kicked in. The first booking he made was 3 minutes after the restart, surprisingly, perhaps, to an Arsenal player. Saka was booked for kicking out of Bowen. And then we had probably what was the most controversial incident of the game. And I'm very, very interested to hear your thoughts on this one. Ball played over the top for Jarrod Bowen. Bowen flicked the ball past Ramsdale, who clearly, well, at least I mean, say clearly, but appeared to have little control of the challenge he was making on Bowen. It looked to me, to myself and Nick, that Bowen was jumping over Ramsdale to avoid being clattered. Ramsdale, we've shown a still of Ramsdale coming out with his studs up. We all thought Ramsdale had been booked and Bowen had been given a free kick, but as it transpired, Bowen was booked for diving.
It's Mike Dean. He can't do something honest, can he? I mean, thank God we're never going to see him again. It just really, really shouldn't be allowed to referee. I hope that when he finishes refereeing, he doesn't get a job. He's unemployed. He's on the dole. I mean, comes to that part of the world, doesn't he, where it's standard practice. He cannot resist making a decision that is against the laws of the game. When he's on telly, live telly, cannot resist it.
What's your?
I thought, I mean, trying to jump to avoid having, being cut in half.
Yeah. Well, that's what that was our impression from 50 and 150 miles away, but. That's how it seemed to you in the stadium. It was like it wasn't a dive. He was just trying to get. Was he caught? Did you think he was caught?
I mean, I'm hearing there was no contact, but it certainly had to. If he wasn't caught, it certainly was more luck than judgment on Ramsdale. But it's just you're not going to get an honest game when he's in charge. Simple as that.
Sorry to break it, but Mike Dean's going on to VAR after he retires from running on the field. So next season he'll be at Stockley Park.
He'll demand cameras are on him in the VAR room. That'll be the next thing.
He probably
that'll be the next thing.
I remember images of him when he went to watch. Is it Tranmere? And he was just lapping up, being the centre of attention, standing forward from the crowd and sticking his arm up in the air and hands in the air. And it was all about him.
I look the studs up on that. I'm just seeing that picture now.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah. So, I mean, the thing I really took from that is that Ramsdale is completely facing the wrong way when when he makes that challenge.
Yeah.
Which is something else. And you know, if there isn't a foul there, he's very, very close to Bowen anyway.
Yeah, Bowen's trying to keep out of its way. Simple as that.
Okay.
There had been dives, a lot of dives during the game, most of which came from the visitors and most of which were given as fouls, surprisingly.
Okay. Well, I mean, the fact was, within about 2 minutes of that incident, Arsenal had retaken the lead, and yet again, it came from another set piece. Very, very un-West Ham-like. This time, it was a ball that was initially cleared by the Hammers, and in the end, it was. It looked like perhaps Lanzini was a little bit short again, not marking his man. In the end, it was Gabriel who put the ball in. Nick felt that Lucas Fabianski was at fault for that. What's your assessment of everything that happened in that incident?
Not quite sure about that incident. I only haven't seen it once, but I didn't think Fab had a good game all the way through.
Okay.
Number of times you wanted him to be coming off his line and he wasn't.
Right.
And just looks a bit ill at ease, I thought. But
they might have been with who was in front of him. We did have a ramshackle back line at the end of the day, although it wasn't really that ramshackle when you look at it with Cresswell, Kufal, whatever it's bloody pronounced, Zuma. You know, so it wasn't that bad. And again, I suppose it takes us back to January when we knew that Bono was going to be out for the season, and we've gone into an extremely hectic end of the second half of the season with just 3 fit centre backs. Again, you mean to say that there was nobody out there? And again, going back, and this is the thing, right? I'm not a character assassinating Moyes whatsoever. He's done absolutely amazing for this football club, and I would not change him for any manager out there, even Guardiola, Klopp, or anything else. But that doesn't mean that he's not infallible and that he hasn't made mistakes. And he has made mistakes, and hopefully he will learn. He's learned from that now, that you can't go and challenge on two fronts for Europe in the league and for a major European trophy with a squad that, you know, we've got the numbers in the squad. That's not a problem. It's the quality in the squad. And he had an opportunity in January to improve the quality in the squad. And that's what I'm focusing on here. I'm not talking about the quality of the first 11 or anything else like that. The quality of the squad. And he failed to do that. And that, to me, was a massive, massive blunder, which is why we find ourselves in a situation now of, you know, we're still exceeding expectations from an average West Ham season. And I don't want to start sounding like a Spurs fan, but, you know, with us sitting in 7th with 3 games to go. But it's that old West Ham thing of what could have been, you know, and it's not negativity. It's born out of frustration. The issues that we're encountering now, you could see a mile off were coming in January. And, you know, the prophecy has been fulfilled in the league, at least, where we've only got 1 win in 6, which is, as you say, you know, we're 18th in the league over the last 10 games or whatever it is. And it could have been avoided. Improve on Diop and Yarmolenko, not improve on Antonio and Zuma.
Let me just cut in there, because I've got to say, I mean, you've referred to those two a few times. I think they've been 2 of our better players in this year. I think Yarmolenko's banged a few goals, and I think Diop, since he came back into the team against Leicester, has barely put a foot wrong. I mean, I think if you're looking at areas to criticise, I think the centre halves is not the place to be looking at, because we've got 4 centre halves. That should be enough for any club, right? 4 decent centre halves. The fact is, we've just been really unfortunate.
What I was saying in January, but you know, the general point remains is that if we couldn't improve the first 11, we needed to improve the bench.
Okay.
So I won't name drop players, but you know, the principle remains the same. Is that you go for Plan B. If you can't improve the first 11, then improve who you've got sitting on the bench. And he chose not to do that, and he didn't have to go out and spend 30-40 million pounds on a player. He's proven he could do it when he's signed players like, you know, Craig Dawson's a fine example. player on loan and then a £2 million sign. What value for money? I know we had 4 centre halves, but one of them was in at the start of January, and we knew he was going to miss the season.
Yeah. I mean, for me,
if we got another one, we wouldn't have had to play a back 3 today.
well, there you go. I mean, no question of what those fans think is going to happen on Thursday night in Frankfurt. I'm going to ask you two guys what's going to happen before we wrap up. No, let me come to you first. Noise in the noisy bunch behind you. We sort of blew out chances really to some degree on Thursday night, but can you possibly foresee another famous West Ham win? Of course, 1976. That was the score in the first leg then, even though we were away 2-1 to Frankfurt. We came back to win the second leg 3-1. The rest is history. Can we do it again on Thursday night?
Yes, we can do it. We can do it. I think we can. But with the caveat of whether we will do it is a different kettle of fish.
I mean, it's either going to be the most disappointing night in West Ham's history or the greatest night in West Ham's history, isn't it? Really, you'd have to say to go to the semi-final. Noam, how do you see that panning out on Thursday night? I don't think Noam could even hear us. I think. Noam, come in, Noam. Can you hear us? He's trying to get away from the noisy sorts. Look, trying to find a quiet patch of Stratford Station, which isn't going to be easy. Noam, can you hear us?
I can now. Yeah, sorry, it's been noisy.
I was just saying that we repeated our semi-final first leg result against Eintracht Frankfurt on. Oh, you've got people trying to get on the stream behind you on Thursday night. Of course, back then we triumphed in the second leg 3-1 and ran out 4-3 winners on aggregate. What are the chances of us doing that again? Can you see it happening? Can you see lightning striking twice?
I can actually. Everybody's been patting me on the back saying, there, you'll be all right. But I think we can. I mean, okay. You could see at the end of the day how cheesed off the players were. And, 4 or 5 of them were taking a point with Dean as to his performance. And, you carry that sense of injustice in. And somebody wants, you want to make somebody suffer.
Yeah.
Eintracht are next. They're no great shakes at home. They really aren't. And I think, eminently doable. Eminently doable.
Well, it's good to see this confidence amongst the team, even though we're on the back of just one win in 7 games. But Nick, you sort of think that confidence breeds success and all that. And the form going into this game has been pretty dreadful, as we've already explained. Can we turn it around out there? I mean, Noam said there that Frankfurt, their home record isn't anything to write home about. Like us, they've been concentrating on their European campaign. Got a fantastic result on Thursday. It's going to be a different story out there in Germany, isn't it? Almost like the role is going to be reversed. How do you see Frankfurt playing? Do you think they're going to come at us on the front foot and try and get the first goal, which would pretty much essentially end the tie? Do you think they'll be a little bit more diplomatic, shall we say, and sit back and try and soak up West Ham's pressure and leave the onus on us to attack?
Well, that's so happy.
Right? Oh,
go on, no.
Go on, no. You can come in there. That's fine.
I just think that we'll be better. It's as simple as that. And I think, we've shown when up against it, Lyon away, which I look on as being in a similar sort of situation. We needed to go out there and get something. And sorry, I just think he'll get them going for this. An early goal, and I don't think Frankfurt will have. Frankfurt will get very, very nervous after that.
Okay, all right. Well, I mean, early goal the key, according to Noam. And Nick, what are your thoughts on that same question?
Talking to a colleague who is German, and he's very into his German football. Apparently, where does this sound like? That at home, Frankfurt are very quick to get on their players' back when things aren't going well.
Yep.
Now, if, as Noam says, if we can get an early goal or frustrate them, then Frankfurt's crowd could be our trump card. Much like our crowd is at home sometimes.
Okay.
They have apparently saying, I don't know how true this is. I'm sure somebody who is more up on these things will tell me. But apparently they turn quickly if they're not doing well, which might have something as well to do with their home form this season. Anyway.
Right.
So we need to do what teams used to do to us when they come to Upton Park or come to the London Stadium, is frustrate the home crowd so that the home crowd gets on the back of the team. And that's not a slight on our supporters or anything. It's football, isn't it? It's what happens. And if we can do that and outplay them, we've got a chance. I think we can do it.
I find this very interesting, and I would imagine, I mean, I haven't seen any German press this week, gentlemen, but Frankfurt are not playing until tomorrow night. They go to Leverkusen in the Bundesliga for a 7:30 kickoff on Monday night. Now, I'm guessing there's probably all sorts of ructions about that, and I can imagine if that was happening in the Premier League, we'd be up in arms at West Ham being forced to play just 72 hours before a huge European tie. No, I mean, we're looking for little advantages and things that could work in our favour. That would certainly appear to be one, and a strange decision, perhaps.
That is surprising, given the much vaunted German efficiency and how the machine operates out there. You'd have thought that but they'll put a second team out. I mean, they're not going to get through. Last I looked, they were 9 points away from even the bottom European spot with not much to play. So they'll stick the kids out in that and probably get walloped, and their first team will be fresh for Thursday.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the table. Leverkusen are currently third in the table. They've not really got much chance of. In fact, I don't think they can finish first or second. So but they're in a fight for a Champions League spot, along with Freiburg and Leipzig and even Cologne and Union Berlin to a degree. But Frankfurt are currently dropped down to 10th after this weekend's results. I think they've got another. What have they got? 3 more games left to go this season. They're only 11 points off of the relegation zone, they've certainly not had a great season. But Nick, you surprised by that they've got to play on a Monday night with that huge tie coming up on Thursday?
Yeah, basing it on what we're used to, yeah, it is quite a surprise. But on the other hand, I don't know the ins and outs and the workings of the German league. So, I'm not qualified enough to say it is unusual. Maybe that is what they do out there, and it's kind of I don't know. It might be a moot point. Maybe they've been doing that in the run-up to other European games. I don't know. So, but basing it on the Premier League, the fact that we wouldn't play on a Monday night, and yes, it's unusual for us, but it might not be out there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
No, yeah, absolutely, it does. Makes perfect sense. There you go. Well, I think we'll leave it there, gentlemen. There's not really much point in going over what's happened today. It's a bit of a nothing game for us. Quite clearly, thoughts are on what happens on Thursday rather than today's game, even though it's a little bit disappointing to go behind. And yet again, Mike Dean's had an influence, as we kind of all suspected he would, in the game. West Ham have gone down 2-1 at home, but it's a huge game coming up in 4 days' time in Frankfurt. Now, the big question is, of course, will there be an Eyes Up Mother Brown on Thursday night? Now, half of the team are going to be around and half of the team will be elsewhere, well, Frankfurt to be precise. No, I guess I'll have to come to you on this one. Is there going to be an Eyes Up on Thursday night?
I'll be watching it from a pub in St Neots in Cambridgeshire. So
it would appear unlikely then.
Well, I mean, if it can be set up for there, if the good Mrs. Howlett can set something up like she did before, then because you two go together.
No, we're both going, but Nick is driving out there, and I'm taking the easier option of jumping on a Lufthansa and jetting over. But we are sharing accommodation anyway.
Oh,
suffice to say. So
But what we could do is do a pre-match early evening thing, because they're an hour ahead of us, aren't they?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that on some mobile phones we could maybe jump on for half hour as a.
Just a warning, Nick. I've shared accommodation with Mr. Howlett abroad before, but after 2 nights I kicked him out and got a bird in instead. So
We're only there for 2 nights anyway, and to be honest, I'm too old for that caper, mate.
that is actually I can confirm that is actually true. But quite frankly, I'd had enough of his snoring by then anyway. So I wasn't too disheartened or disappointed by it. But yeah, so we'll let you know. I mean, what I might try and do is, as we did for Sevilla, I wasn't in Lyon, but we did some live Twitter feeds from the away end before the game in the run up. So perhaps we'll do some of that on our Twitter channel, which is, if you're not aware, at kumb.com, all words, no symbols, at KUMBDOTCOM. If you're not subscribed to us on Twitter, come and join us on there. We might do some live feeds from there, but we'll try and get an eyes up for you anyway. Perhaps Noam hosting it from St Neots, from the pub, with the rest of us joining in at some points throughout the evening. Hopefully it's going to be an evening to remember. As I said, it's either going to be one of the most disappointing nights ever as a West Ham supporter, or possibly, you know, I'm mindful of 1965, but one of the greatest in the club's history. If we are able to turn it around? Anyway, that's about it from us today. My thanks to my co-host Nick and Noam, who's kindly joined us with the assistance of several hundred supporters, including some little Arsenal fans joining him behind him, one or two tourists as well. Yeah.
It's so scared when I stared at him.
No, you might know this because I've been asking this question throughout the stream today. Have we lost 3 games on the spin under David Moyes since he's returned? Do you know?
Where's Rio when you need him?
That's a negatory.
We said.
Well, hopefully Rio will be able to join you on the stream on Thursday if he's about, and our technical knowledge will be boosted once more by Rio, who is of course the man for a stat or two. That's just about it from us this afternoon. Thank you to everyone for joining us on the live stream. Thank you for your comments as always. We do appreciate you joining in and getting involved with the stream. Come and join us on Thursday night. West Ham United travel to Eintracht Frankfurt. It could be the greatest night we've had in generations. Could be one of the most disappointing, but we won't go there just yet. Today it's finished. West Ham United 1, Arsenal 2. The Hammers undone by a couple of set pieces and a little bit of interference from Mike Dean. The good news is, no, we're never going to have to put up with it again. So every cloud and all that. That's just about it from us tonight. Until Thursday night, take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful bank holiday Monday, whatever you do. Hope the weather holds out and you have a lovely extra day off work. We'll see you again very soon. Until then, my friends, take care. And of course,
Come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons.